Hello, everyone, and welcome on over to the MEC. We're getting ready for some Smash, and we're getting into week number 2 here. My name is Travis D. I am joined here with the one, the only, the Kevin with a K. How are you doing, buddy?
I am doing great. I'm ready for some fun crew battles. We've got a bunch of teams that are going to be playing against each other as they do every week. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of different characters, a lot of different play styles. I am super excited to get into it.
Yeah, and we saw a couple of these teams, actually. I noticed that a couple of them that we have seen, we've seen them in the past weeks. And my favorite thing about Collegiate Smash so far, since we've been getting into the MEC, where we've kind of gotten a little taste of it from the lands, is that diversity that you were talking about. Let me tell you, Kevin, we have been having so many diverse picks coming out across. We've seen some of the OPs, like the ones that are coming at you that you're like, all right, they're just going to hands check you and you're going to lose. That's just how it goes. But we've also seen some creativity coming across from the community. And some of the people who have been lifelong players, I still have an Ice Climbers player in the back of my head where I'm like, yo, I was not expecting to see an Ice Climbers pop off in 2023.
That's my favorite part about the university scene is that when it comes to professional play or when it comes to going to a regional or a local or a major even, you can kind of predict what you're going to be seeing from different players. You can usually look it up. It's something that can be foreseen. However, when you get to college or college crew battles especially, but college and university battling altogether, those rosters are not something that's going to be static year over year. Those are going to be constantly refreshing. And so you're going to have different players come in playing characters that you're not expecting. You can maybe, if you're lucky, do a little bit of research by searching on like PG stats to see if you can figure out what characters that they normally play. But it's usually the wild, wild west where anything can happen, anything goes.
Excited for our first matchup of the day, to be honest with you, just because of the fact that we keep talking about these different fun matchups that could possibly go down. I'm excited just because of the fact that I saw a lot of Cloud. Cloud is always a character that remains close to my heart as a Final Fantasy fan. They add a Final Fantasy game into any fighting game out there. That's my main. So, you know what? I'm excited to see some more of that. And it's been very aggressive Clouds too, which is the way I like to play. So I love it.
Absolutely fantastic. I'm hoping to see for myself some Spaceys. It started with Melee, but ultimately I have enjoyed Spacey gameplay from the beginning of Smash all the way to now. But in any case, we're going to get into our first crew battle of the day. I believe it's Benedictine versus Campbellsville.
3, 2, 1, go!
Yes.
I can hear the Latin choir coming out, you know, we're hearing the Sephiroth being sung very loudly here. You can see Mona trying to, in the midst of everything, try to mix up this PK rule. Was very terrifying, by the way, for him.
Yeah, no caster bias, but I'm sure there's definitely some part of it is that Benedictine at least takes this first game as Final Fantasy fan himself. However, PK rules on the other side. Taking the first stock, Campbellsville's up.
Yeah, no, that's all she wrote when it comes down to that. Who knew? You don't need to match Sephiroth sword for sword, just have to have a mean drop kick. And right now, King K. Rool, mean drop kick, Crown, and Blunderbuss is shooting out on all cylinders. Brilliant use here from the King K. Rool, but Sephiroth finally gets a little bit more momentum back for themselves. Cannot hit the downside.
It's a very interesting matchup. You don't usually see the top levels of play outside of college. Is Sephiroth versus K. Rool, not just because K. Rool won't have a lot of representation outside of the Kirby kid, but also because these two don't usually see play against each other. Sephiroth is usually picked as a secondary, and so somebody bringing them out as kind of a blind pick, first pick against the K. Rool. What does the matchup look like? You would imagine that better character overall to Sephiroth would be more beneficial to play. But K. Rool has a lot of ways to keep Sephiroth out. Sephiroth, like being the range king, having a couple of really solid projectiles and a counter is going to be great for that. However, you've got to play your ranges in that situation. Unfortunately, a little bit too mid-range for the size of
Campbellsville University, this is a standard strategy that we've seen from them a couple times. And this King K. Rool doing a good job of actually like plays that big game like you were talking about. I feel like that's probably the big thing that we'll keep our eye on. But I do feel like it's almost a case of like the Sephiroth has downloaded a patch mid-series, right? They're already starting to go, okay, King K. Rool wants to play. I'm going to adapt a little bit. Seeing some nice loading up, stinging down, and trying to land that hurts. Great ledge game actually coming out from the Sephiroth.
Yeah, and if you are Campbellsville right now, you have to figure out what your win condition is. Remember that Sephiroth does not have a lot of great out-of-shield options. However, being a big body like K. Rool, out-of-shield jump nair on Sephiroth is going to be a pretty solid option to punish K. Rool's unsafe jump-ins. And so you have to instead play this range, this horizontal range, either outside of the sword or close up where you can win in a scramble situation.
Kind of sprint here. Sephiroth's in that desperate times moment for King K. Rool. Well, King K. Rool, they know that they can get it through. Having to spend so much of their percentage. The Sephiroth has been on the second stock and has gone through 2 of King K. Rool's. And you can see the pressure on this ledge is so hard to deal with, but that is a nice answer back. Now it's 1-1, but the percentage in favor of Sephiroth.
Yep, and that's gonna take it right there. The down air is going to catch K. Rool's trying to recover. K. Rool's propellicopter recovery is notoriously difficult to punish on most characters. However, when you've got Sephiroth, a character with a massive sword that can angle it straight down, again, not something that most characters can do because usually you have to try to go horizontal, and if K. Rool is hugging the stage, there's really not a lot of good ways to try to edge guard that. But Sephiroth has one of the best tools for it, and I cannot believe that we close that game out getting to see one of the core specific niche win conditions that Sephiroth has over K. Rool to bring a one-stock advantage to Benedictine.
It was a very clean matchup, too. A clean recovery coming out from the Sephiroth, as we can remember. Took out a majority of that percentage on that second stock, right? They went through 2.5, basically, inside of that one life. And that is the chaotic thing that can kind of come out here. Now, the Nets member of Campbellsville, they're going to have to find themselves in this situation, right? They're going to talk to their boy. They're going to be like, hey, what do you recommend? They're going to have, all of a sudden, they're going to walk up. They're going to put the controller in their hand. And all of a sudden, that Latin is going to start singing. They're going to hit that choir going. They know Sephiroth's awaiting. Even though there's only one stock, the danger is quickly, whoever gets the advantage, they have the advantage to go forward. Let's get into the second match as the choir, they're wrapping up. They're getting everything set up. I want to see what Campbellsville's answer to Sephiroth is. It's the Rob.
Rob is going to be interesting. Obviously, you only have to take out one stock from Sephiroth, and And so there's not a whole lot of characters you have to really be worried about playing into that Sephiroth one stock. I think that any character, for the most part, can take off a single stock off of Sephiroth. But Rob is a good safe pick, because as soon as you take out the Sephiroth, you're going to have to deal with whatever the enemy team is going to bring in to counter your Rob with like 3 stocks. And you don't want to get counterpicked when you're at 3 stocks to 3 stocks. You want to ideally do more work for your team before you get counterpicked. So picking a safe pick like Rob that does not have a whole lot of terrible matchups or undoable matchups, is a better way to put it, is a really good choice. And taking it to Smashville is pretty solid as well. Those low ceilings are going to benefit Rob.
Let's see, Sephiroth going to go ahead and take a stock off, and this is the snowball I was a little bit worried about, and Rob did get punished by that low ceiling that they opted in for.
Yep, this is not the best spot to be in if you're Campbellsville. You lost the stock so quickly, and yes, you know, taking the stock off of Sephiroth right now would be great and all. You're still a stock down. You didn't really bring it back for your team like you wanted to, but your percentage is climbing, and if you lose this stock, then you just got to be wondering, was this the right choice from Campbellsville?
Was this the right thing? Did you equip your party right for the final boss that started things off here for Benedictine University? As you can see, they're just going to continue going over this Sephiroth. They can play a little bit more aggressive than what they wanted to. That's another stock! God, from Campbellsville.
That's tough. That's tough. Rob's air mobility, I mean, he's got great air acceleration. His airspeed isn't fantastic. And so Sephiroth can kind of predict where Rob is going to be at any time and cover a lot of the different drift options that Rob has. And so that's what we saw there, using the back air and the up air to kind of box out Rob from doing any sort of high recovery or coming back to stage. Now Rob's disadvantage is going to be really difficult, and it seems a lot more like Sephiroth is an advantageous matchup into this Rob. And so if you wanted to pick the Rob as a quick counter pick option, or maybe as a safe pick that you think that you can go into your next 3 stocks with no issues, you better think twice, because now you're down even more than you started with.
Right now with both parties in this percentage, both of them are in that KO area that could possibly come about here. One swing is all it takes. Sephiroth, though, they're comfortable. This is like their comfort zone here. They just straight up slash them. 1 stock is all you need when you're Sephiroth walking through the flames. What a good showing.
Yeah, arm rotor getting punished hard. Obviously, the end lag is super long on that, and you could really feel Campbellsville going for a go for broke situation right there. You were kind of hoping that maybe you can make something happen. Let me throw out this really high risk, high reward option. Did you really need to do that? Sephiroth, one of the lightest characters in the game, at like 140%. I don't think you needed to throw out the arm rotor. It clearly was a panic option, and you could really see Benedictine College in the advantageous position there, Benedictine University, I believe, excuse me, feeling very comfortable knowing that Campbellsville was going to go for something risky there. All you had to do was wait.
This is one of the things I also love about cruise battles is once you start getting ahead, some of the players start feeling themselves a little bit more. They kind of get in that comfortable moment, right? They kind of slouch back into the chair and they're like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do some funky mitts-ups real quick. I'm gonna take you for a wild ride, like it's Marvel versus Capcom, baby. That's going to be a good time. And you know what? Hey, in these kind of situations, the Sephiroth is playing that way. They're playing very aggressive, playing very fast, being very loose, and they are being rewarded by it for making this Raw panic. As you said, it felt like there was a lot of panic that kind of came out from this Sephiroth just zooming around the map.
Yeah, and the amount of effort that Campbellsville put into getting 140% on that Sephiroth's 1 stock, Sephiroth started and ending with 1 stock. Guess what? That gets wiped clean for the next game. So Sephiroth is suddenly 1 stock, 0% again, and you're back to square one. I have a 3 stock character that needs to take out a 1 stock character. Who do I pick here? Do you go with something safe like the Rob, or do you say, you know what, we're too far behind right now. We have to make sure we take out the Sephiroth before they can do any more damage. And that's exactly what I think we're going to see. Let's find out. We're ready to get into our third player from Campbellsville. 4 stocks up on the side of Benedictine. Let's see what we got.
Benedictine's doing a great job, and here comes the Pally here. This Pally is very scary, by the way, Kevin. The very, very scary member from this Campbellsville University. They actually had a big moment in this is the same player from Campbellsville. I do not have the confirmation, of course, that it is the same one at the current moment in time that's playing this. But for last time we saw Campbellsville, when they had the poly come out, they tend to have the poly in the middle. This person had a moment where on 1 stock they cleared out 4 players.
Oh, wow. That's wild. Let's see if we can get just a one singular player, actually a third of a player, only having that one stock from the side of Benedictine. Campbellsville playing this neutral, not feeling too pressured to close this out quickly. I think that's the right move. Play this as though it were a 3-stock versus 3-stock situation, and you're going to be a lot more comfortable closing out a singular one.
Keep an eye on this. Going to keep doing those pop shots. Every time Sephiroth goes in, blinking. Just saying, you know what? I'm not really there. Goes back to that mid-range, take a pop shot, throw out a fireball, do what you got to do. Trying to keep that little bit of range together for them. But the Sephiroth's doing a great job actually closing it and not letting these pop shots be as effective as we've seen in the past.
Yeah, Campbellsville should have thrown in the Palutena first. You still get the option of it being a safe pick against any sort of possible counter picks. Sans like you know, like a Roy or something that could be really difficult. You still have that safety of counter pick matchups, but you actually have a strong matchup into Sephiroth. Sephiroth being a big body, light character, can get comboed very easily and has a very punishable recovery as well. However, Benedictine is really fighting to get just a singular stock off of Campbellsville before losing their own. Let's see if they can make it happen.
Trying, but they're gonna lose one more stock. Sephiroth is actually the boss, and they are struggling to figure out if they are well equipped to deal with this Sephiroth, as they are just zipping and zooping throughout this. Go ahead. That's nasty.
Yeah, rude right there, but honestly, at deserve. You've taken out, what, 7 stocks at this point by just yourself? Yeah, feel yourself a little bit right there. Campbellsville needs to not panic, though. If they can close out the stock before any more damage is done, remember, you still have 33% to the end of the stock to close it out. All you have to do is play fundamentals, play stage positioning, and catch Sephiroth doing something really unsafe. I think that was, you know, an option right there, being able to punish that up B, but didn't quite happen. And now you're off stage, trying to fight your way back. He's just having a field day.
Just having the time of their life in this moment in time. Look at this, just constantly playing for the ledge. How do you get past the defense here that the Sephiroth's just been putting out there? It's just constantly, the ledge is their best friend. It is not yours.
You have to try. Oh, wow. Perfectly timed neutral get up. Incredible there. Back air is going to send Sephiroth off stage. You have stage positioning. What's the ledge trap? Oh, actually read the roll option, but was a little bit too slow on the draw. And now scramble situation. The dash attack is going to take it. And Campbellsville stops the bleeding temporarily.
Yeah, they've applied pressure to the wound, but the wound still exists at this current moment in time. Remember, the damage has been done. That is a very sharp blade that Sephiroth carries around, and it's left its mark. So
we've amputated a few fingers, I think, at this point. So we're just hoping not to lose the limb.
Yeah. There's like a gash right there on the arm too, right? Like they're feeling it at this moment in time. But you know what? It's recoverable. You can recover from this. And like I was talking about earlier, Campbellsville with this Poly, we were giving them the nickname Poly God in the previous LAN event, right? Bandage it up, and yo, this is a person that you've had that's been in a clutch situation before for your team. Can they replicate that success?
That Palutena really cut off the gangrene limb, but it's already been injected. How far can that go? How much more damage can that do when you are, what are we at right now? I believe it's 7 stocks down, or excuse me, 4 stocks down, full character and a stock. You got to try to make up some ground here. And Palutena is a good character to do it with, you know, very solid Fundy's top tier, some would argue. But what is the counter pick? I think that's going to be the determining factor. Palutena doesn't have any super terrible stages. You know, obviously you want a stage with platforms if you have the opportunity. But what is the counter pick? Let's find out. Let's get into this next game.
Yeah, let's see what we got. Marth, baby, it's time. It's not Roy, but it's Marth.
This is a bad choice. And yeah, okay, I see. It looks like, you know, they've switched sides here.
All right, well, the Benedict time is the Poly, so they just swap sides. It's A-okay. Oh, go ahead and continue going through it. You said bad pick. You're not a fan of Marth in here?
Yeah, Benedictine picking Marth into Campbellsville's Palutena, I think wasn't it. I think that Palutena has plenty of ways to deal with this matchup. The two framing options doesn't really cover the Dolphin Slash too well. Like, you can't just do down tilt unsafely. With it being a disjoint, you have some spacing you can do, but you don't have like a lot of good ways to cover Marth once he gets close to the stage. But if you send Marth like further off stage, say with like a Palutena back throw, which it honestly looks like Campbellsville is fishing for a little bit there, you have a lot of ways to cover the horizontal recovery of a Marth. So I don't know. Between that and being able to deal with the up close like CQC, I don't think Marth is a great choice. You have to play such a specific range that Palutena isn't even bad at dealing with it.
No, not at all. It's an interesting thing, right? If Marth can't get in there, right, that could be great, but we were talking about it earlier with the poly being able to just maintain the spacing as well, and then they can just kind of grab you in these different instances. Marth is not having a great time in it, but no stocks drop just yet. Marth trying to play the ledge game. Is just going to wait. Let him get off nicely. We appreciate that for being a real gentleman for poly.
Yeah, I think we're also seeing Benedictine's Marth choosing not to play, despite being up 4 stocks, choosing not to play it too safe. I think they're getting too in their head about the single game of 3 stock versus 2 stock and trying to close it out. I think you just go for safe out of shield options. You know, Dolphin Slash as an out of shield option can punish a lot of what Campbellsville's Palutena is doing right here.
Oh!
Wow. I'm just going to say since it is a 5-frame startup, but yeah, that's tough. That's a tough place to be.
You trying to play defense on the ledge? All right, the ledge is locked. It immediately explodes underneath this Marth's feet. That is something that is going to be sitting in the back of their mind, but they do get to take a stock off, which continues to lay a blow onto this poly. 2 stocks to 1 now. Marth is going to have to continue applying that pressure.
Not having reversal from ledge options makes that F-tilt a dangerous ledge traps position from Marth. You get to space all the way out for a neutral get-up. You can catch neutral get-ups. You can catch drop-down attack get-ups. The only thing you can't cover with the F-tilt is jump. If they roll, you have options to respond to it. So it's a good option, too, especially against Palutena. And we can see that in play in that last stock. But you have still got to hold up your 2 stocks. If you lose another stock here, Campbellsville's going to start feeling a lot more comfortable, have a lot of rage on the Palutena to maybe close out even that last one. So what's the play? How do you close out the stock? Play clean, play simply. Yeah, going for F smash reads, I guess, is an option, but I think you just play stage. You can't just let Palutena get back to stage for free there.
I do just like the raw, I'm just gonna smash, bro. That's all I need to do. And, that's the name of the game. Go ahead, lay in those heavy hits, and yet again, another little bit of some chip damage on the recovery being applied, but Poly is taking a significant amount of damage, and there you go. That is a character knocked out. I'm a little bit surprised, and Marth coming in here, putting up a clean game, only losing 1 stock.
Why F smash there? For so many reasons, I have a question. Why F smash there? Your sour spot F smash as Marth killed because Palutena was at 140%. Could you have picked any other option? Step back, F tilt. Maybe like you could have honestly just stood right there and Dolphin Slash. It would have killed Palutena. Like I don't know. That was some big question marks for me. But what they chose to do did close out the game, so I can't fault them too much for it.
Yeah, I mean, if it works, I'm not gonna argue it, right? Like, go ahead, throw the whole kitchen sink. Sometimes is it suboptimal? Maybe. But the most optimal strategy is just winning. So, hey, if it lets you win, hey, I call that optimal. I think the next question is now from Campbellsville, right? Your poly's gone. This is a big momentum killer, I feel like, in a lot of ways because of the way they would like to play this out with that poly in the middle that kind of resets things if things get a little out of hand or carry a lead over for their team even further beyond. Now, Campbellsville is put into a very weird situation in which they are on the back foot quite a bit here. Now they got to go against a Marth who I don't believe. I feel like every Smash player has experience playing into Marth. You run into them just randomly. There's always a Marth I live and die by the sword player, right?
I think that Marth having only 1 stock means that you can pick just about any character and you're going to be fine. Marth only has like a couple of really decisively winning matchups, and so I think you just pick a safe character, something that can take out a stock on Marth, and hopefully you don't get counterpicked. That's it. So just Just pick something safe. You only have to take one stock off of one of the lowest tier characters in the game. That's the game plan. So let's see what they choose to do as we get into this next game.
Go. And hey, yo, how about some PK Thunder, PK Ice? You got all that going in here. This is a very scary pick. And remember, Mark is on 2 stocks. He only lost 1 from that last one. So it is something that you got to be cautious over if Mark does get in and decides to slash those yo-yos.
Yeah, this... I don't know who their last 2 players are. Let me preface by saying that. I'm not sure who they chose for their last 2 players, so I don't know what characters they had. That said, Lucas was an interesting choice. Because I think this is one of the only matchups that Marth does really well against. From Marth players, of course. You know, like one of Lucas's absolute worst matchups is Lucina, and Marth is just Lucina but with less close range options. Lucas isn't playing at the close range to begin with, so let's find out what we can do. And it was 2 stocks, excuse me, not 1 stock on the Marth. And so we have with 11 stocks to 6 stocks on the side of Campbellsville. Let's find out. Let's see what we can make happen. The back throw is not going to quite kill, and PK Thunder can only do so much.
See some good pressure being laid in here, though, with the PK Thunder, the PK Fire. Going for a risky move here. Marv trying to go ahead and get that off-stage spike to finish things off, but... okay, goodbye.
Yeah, they call it Shield Breaker for a reason. That's the name of the move, and that's what it did. You already lost a stock. You're down a whole nother stock on Campbellsville. You needed to pick something a little bit safer. Great PK Thunder to get the edge guard there, but you're still down 5 stocks. Yeah, you got to close out this stock on Marth and then pray that Benedictine doesn't come back with a crazy Lucas counterpick. By crazy Lucas counterpick, I mean 50% of the cast. So let's find out what we can get to close out this game.
To be fair, last time you had said, yo, there's not many matchups that Mark is super strong into, and then now we have a matchup where it's like that. And that's one of the beauties of college, too, is like, some people just, you know, they have their picks, they're comfortable in the whatever you got.
Absolutely, and some colleges can't afford a coach. That was not a slight. If you have a coach, Campbellsville University, I'm sure you're fantastic, and you just want your players to get experience. I would love that as well, so just, please don't hurt me. Let's see if Campbellsville can close out to keep this stock lead to only a minimal 6.
I just got a DM asking where your Addy is.
Oh no!
They're trying to find you right now. Lucas trying to find out that last decisive blow onto him. Nice PK Fire, get that spacing and knock him off on the ledge. So good cleanup. Campbellsville, pressure is there as they have to run through 3 whole characters with their last stock of their second to last.
Yeah, 1 stock Lucas is got to be in my bottom 5 characters to make a comeback. Honestly, that's so tough because you have some guaranteed combo options that will not work with Rage. So if you start to get at those higher percentages, even if you take out 1 stock from your opponent, you've got a big uphill battle to start to climb that percentage up on their second and let alone third stocks and then close it out. So you're going to be going for a lot of stray hits. You're going to be going for a lot of edge guards and, you know, maybe some lucky ledge trap options, but it's going to be a lot of scramble. It's going to be a lot of throwing out to see what hits. And Lucas does not have the best hitboxes for that. So it's going to be down to the skill of that player from Campbellsville. Can Campbellsville's Lucas, with 1 stock remaining, make enough happen here to make sure that their last player doesn't have to essentially run 3-player gauntlet?
It's hard, man. Like, you're in this kind of a situation, right? I feel bad for Campbellsville because in situation, right, it's a lot of pressure on you, and it's if you can adapt to it. We've seen comebacks happen time and time again. This is a format that allows for those kind of comebacks to happen at a moment's notice, so it can. It is a very viable thing to be able to happen. And you also don't know if Benedictine sent out their best players to just start things out, right? Like, that is a strategy that some people might do. Say, hey, I'm going to send in my 3 best players as my first 3 best players to close things out quickly or knock people out very quickly. So it's where the strategy of it all could come into play.
Very reasonable strategy to play that way. You know, the only benefit to playing all of your last players at the end is that if they get to a higher percentage, and let's say that they're a really good player because they know how to close out stocks or they know how to, play from behind, then
Mhm.
let's say that you're at 140% on your last stock. If you wind up taking out the other player because you are the better player, you get to be reset to 0 and you have another chance as the better player to take out more stocks. So there is some benefit to that. However, crew battles are very momentum based. So putting your
Mhm.
best players up front, not only as like a morale drip, but also to take out whatever your opponents decide to throw in at the beginning. That means that your opponents cannot throw in, a weaker character. They can't throw in anything that's going to be a bad matchup because the better player is going to know how to read a bad matchup, and it means that they can't throw in, let's say that their best player in a bad matchup as well. So you basically got to play either a good matchup or a better player in an even matchup. And so you kind of force your opponent's hand by playing your stronger players early. So I think there's benefits to both. And Benedictine, I'm not sure who their best players are. However, it looked like they front loaded it pretty hard. So let's find out what they can do. Getting into the next game, Campbellsville's Lucas at one stock playing against
Go!
Benedictine's Wolf.
See this will come in here, and dude, they're able to lay in the pressure that Lucas did not appreciate from that mark. We did see that be a thing that was commonly a issue. I see a little offstage action to start things off, just for the Wolf just saying, "Hey, I can hop off too." What?
Yeah, I think that they're resetting this for some reason. I'm not sure what happened here. Maybe it was a character in select pick. Maybe it was a stage issue, but they're going to reset that. It could be that they had some misunderstanding as to how to start a game. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go back to the original starting positions after you take whatever stocks off that you need to start the next
Yeah.
battle in a crew battle. And then, Gentleman's unsung agreement is to taunt and then begin the round. However, not everybody knows that. Not everybody's experiencing that. I don't think that's a reason to restart the game, but I guess we'll find out seeing what they come back in with. Will they come back in with the Wolf again? Which, by the way, I think is a fine pick. It's a safe
Yeah.
pick. It's a good option into Lucas. You get a lot of close quarters options to deal with him. The only issue is that you have a very weak recovery that Lucas can exploit, but still, it's a good choice. You win neutral, you win close quarters combat, and you can even box in the air. Do they stick with that Wolf, or do they go with another character? There's a lot of options. You have a lot of things that you can do. I think Wolf is a good safe pick to deal with whatever Campbellsville's been holding in their pocket for their last player. But we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll see, and we're gonna find out right now as we are going to go ahead and go into it. This time around, Duck Wolf, PK Thunder off of the field. All right, this time they all know, right? They
Stuck
know.
with the Wolf and stuck with PS2. So I'm not sure what the reason for that restart was, but they decided to do for the Taunt Gentleman start. Didn't start both on the platforms, but that's okay. It seems like they were okay with where they're at. And we're going to get right into the scramble up close. Who's going to take the first advantageous position?
And see, so I'll go ahead and try and find that momentum for themselves here. Actually, Lucas is automatically getting smacked up right at the very beginning there, but has evened up the percentage since. They're both kind of filling each other out at this current moment in time, trying to find that one moment for either side to catch. Seen a lot of PKs coming out from one end, and nice little bit of absorption coming on in, getting a hold of that blastable. Just gotta be careful about how they throw those out willy-nilly.
Yeah, good spacing with the Zaire from the side of Lucas, but Wolf's airspeed and air acceleration especially so high that you can't just throw out long and lag moves that only put your opponent in a hit stun for a very small amount of time. So I think the Zaire as like a mix-in option to space out is fine, but if you start using that too often, Benedictine's Wolf is going to know how to start responding to that. So, stage positioning is going to be reset here. Both players at very high percentage, and this is okay. If you were Benedictine, you are happy with this position, and you're especially happy with a dash attack to close out that stock and that game. A little bit of a DI check there, but it's really hard to know exactly what to do. It looked like it killed very strongly, but there was no kill screen for a reason. So ultimately, it was a burst option. It was a quick option. Being able to respond to that is, hard. For any player, even at the top level, players die like that all the time. So no shade whatsoever to Campbellsville, but they are on their last player against, 3 full stocks? This is 3 full stocks on their third to last character.
Yeah, and honestly, if you're over on the opposite side, right? You're a Benedictine, you're looking over, you're like, there's one last thought, there's three thoughts. You all of a sudden can start looking at the game as a strategy of, all right, I have all the quality in the world, and I have all the quantity in the world, right? My players have been smashing, they have been doing great. Yo, we can just be as aggressive as we want to be. We can run at them. We can be a little bit reckless. We can get a little silly in these stocks, right? Because
True.
you triple the amount of thoughts that the opposition has, and no matter what, you're fighting a war of attrition at this moment in time, and you're looking like you don't have quite the supplies to go through it all. It's going to be a hard-fought battle for Campbellsville.
9 stocks to 3. They've only got one player left, so they know exactly who they're going to be playing. But the Wolf on the side of Benedictine, I hope starts going for some of those crazy Wolf Flash confirms off the side because you have the stocks to play with. I also want to see some really fun, some really hyphy, interesting confirms or just choices. I want them to go nuts. They have the stock advantage. Yes, you can't get too comfortable. There's a lot of players in this world that know how to consistently take out people regardless of what character that they're playing. And maybe Campbellsville has held their pocket pick for the very end. But in any case, I still think you have a lot of comfort to play with as Benedictine. And as this Wolf player especially, leave it to your last two players. You go for crazy stuff. You go for the fun stuff. And if you die, you still have 2 other players to blame if you guys lose. So no worries. I think that that's exactly what they should do. I think that Benedictine should just play for fun.
Yeah. I think at this moment in time, play aggressive. Just get up in their face. I'm like you. I want to see the hypey combos. I want to see somebody come out here with the intention of, I need some clips for the montage, right?
Yes.
Like, I think this is definitely like your moment here. I feel like if you're Benedictine, your morale is at an all-time high. I'm curious on who the anchor for Campbellsville is, just because of, as a player, there's a lot that goes on when you're an anchor in these situations. Because when you sign up, when you are put down as an anchor, I feel like you are, we talked about like the most reasonable strategies that possibly can come about. Anchor is one of those positions that I look at and I go, you are the player that probably has the most trust from the rest of your team. Your team just trusts you to be able to clean up their mess if they mess up. And I think there's a lot of pressure and a lot of weight that comes with it that you don't get to really experience out there in most facets that you could possibly run through, or even different outlets that you could possibly go through in esports and sports in general too. I'm curious. I want to see what this next game has in store for us here, Kevin. So I want to know what our last pick, the anchor, is wielding.
Let's find out.
Roy! Okay.
Roy's our boy. As a Roy player myself, I have a lot of knowledge on this matchup especially, and it's even. I think this is a dead even matchup. Roy has a lot of options in CQC to deal with what Wolf has, but Wolf has a lot of very safe aerials to land on Roy with, where Roy's frame 9 out of shield option isn't going to quite cut it. So I think that if you are Wolf here, if you're Benedictine, you just play on this shield. Go for the shield pressure, force Campbellsville's Roy to space you out and not let you into the very closeness as you need, and this is very volatile. That's my favorite part about this matchup, is that it can be just so volatile. And Campbellsville is showing that maybe they did save their best player for last, 17% to 74%, and playing very safe, playing center stage is so disciplined, so principled, and I love that from the side of Roy.
You must dare to approach me. That's how you have to play this matchup here. You see a little bit of shuffling going around. We'll find a couple of different angles to be able to get some nice defense. Roy does get recovered back in here and is trying to find ways to swing back in this fight. Shield to shield, bat to bat. These players are filling each other out. They are both treating it 100% serious, and they know getting a little bit of that momentum can turn this volatile matchup in their favor.
Yeah, we have to remember that I believe this is online, and so there's going to be a little bit of a delay that they're dealing with at any given time. And so, in situations where you use... Oh, that was a great edge guard.
Oh, that
Fantastic
was
edge guard.
That was sick.
But yeah, you have to know in these situations that there is a little bit of delay, so some of these confirms that you might expect to see are going to be more predictive than they are reactive.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel like when I'm online, I'm just trying to... Sometimes I'll just throw out a random move that I'm like, this will probably do damage, right? Like, they're going to run into this. They're going to just run into it. I'm just going to sit here and do this move right here. Yo, Wolf doing that Wolf's doing that perfectly here. Benedictine is really just saying, yo, Roy's gonna walk into me right here. He's gotta get in Swords Link with me. These calls will do the talking.
Yeah, this is difficult. Online Roy is an issue for this reason. He's a great offline character due to his speed and his ability to force tech chases, but the issue is that tech chases are usually going to be fairly reactive. Sure, you can do some sort of predictive stuff, like prepping an F smash for a roll-in off of a down tilt, but ultimately, a lot of what you're going to be doing is going to have to be online. It's going to have to be predictive, and that's just so difficult when you're Roy, because everything that you have has a lot of end lag, so you can't go for anything too risky, especially against a character that has a lot of great ways to close the gap and deal with you and put you into a back foot, like Wolf. So that, combined with the fact that Benedictine does not seem to be afraid to edgeguard Roy, means that Roy is going to be in a tough position, and you've got to play a lot more spaced out. Oh, that was close.
That's very hard. Every single time we see Roy get a little bit closer, it goes in. You see this Wolf is constantly guessing he's going to swing, and it's just like, bet, you know what? I'm a little bit more dexterous. I'm going to go ahead and continue this onslaught. And Roy is having to play very defensive with the last stock in the triple digits on the percentage. This is a incredibly difficult situation. I do not envy this Roy whatsoever, as this edge guard is brutal.
Throwing out the smash attacks like nothing's gonna happen, and nothing did happen, unfortunately. Oh, but that here is gonna be a quick DI check again. Very fast and kind of anticlimactic way to close out that crew battle, but solid stuff from Benedictine. They've showed how their players are just, a lot stronger, but I think what they really showed is how the way that they organized their roster was smart. I think they put one of their strongest players at the front with the Sephiroth. Sephiroth not having the best matchup spread, so had still ways that you could get counterpicked, but just knowing that your better player is going to close it out the way that they need to. I think that was great. Front loading it and making Campbellsville have to have answers as opposed to play whatever that they set out to play from the beginning. And Campbellsville just couldn't quite adapt well enough to make up for that lost ground.
It was good stuff. It was clean as can be. Congratulations to Benedictine for picking up that dub over Campbellsville. We're going to go ahead and take ourselves a short break, but make sure you do not go anywhere, as when we come back, we'll be going into our second crew battle of the day. So make sure you do not touch that browser. Welcome back, everyone. I told you it was a short break, Kevin. It was very short, right? We want to get back into the action after what was a very, very swift first series in favor of Benedictine. Kevin, how are you feeling after seeing quite a few unique picks? Your wishes have so far been answered on the day.
Yeah, after taking a couple of minutes, it was clear to me that Benedictine was just the better team this time around for this crew battle, and they showed it. Nothing else besides that. You can talk all day about matchups or about character selections, but ultimately they just show that they were more prepared, that they were ready, and their players were better. But we're getting into this next game. We have Cornell College versus Miami University of Ohio. And I think that this is going to be hopefully a lot closer. We're getting right into the action, and already Miami University is up a stock.
Cornell already losing a stock here. It's not every day that we get to see the Curb versus Yoshi matchup, but I am here for it. It's an OG matchup. Only OGs will understand from the Melee days and everything like that. But this is very interesting. This Kirby is really putting the finesse with them feet working on this Yoshi, not able to give this Kirby the taste of the Tims.
Yep, we're going to play this one out quietly for you guys. Unfortunately, we were unable to get game audio from those guys, but we have still plenty of visual gameplay to go off of here. This is, yeah, exactly. That we just the sounds of their voices, of our voices. I mean, that's all you need. Let's see how Cornell College can bring this back down to full stock, and full stock indeed. Even off stage, trying to find your way back is going to be difficult against a Kirby. Kirby Yoshi is also a matchup you don't see very often. Two very floaty characters.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I'm like, this is not something that I feel like I have seen. I haven't played a Kirby Yoshi since Melee, right? Like, I haven't seen that in so long. So you can see it giving a little bit of that damage, getting a stock peeled away yet again from this Yoshi. This Kirby is so hard to get rid of. Oh no, that's dirty. Don't do him like that.
Yeah, unfortunately, unless Yoshi doesn't have double jump, you can't do him like that. The fun thing about Inhale, though, is that I believe it ignores the Yoshi's double jump armor. So if you can catch Cornell College Yoshi out of a jump, that's going to be a death sentence. Cornell College trying to make up some ground here. You want to at least take one stock off before losing your own. You can't leave like the last game that we saw where, leaving the rest of your team with not much else to deal with. I mean, you want to hopefully take out at least one stock, and so this ledge trap is crucial.
Well, it's very hard to deal with, but hey, eventually the Tims, they'll find a way. Go ahead and hit up the head of this Kirby. Kirby, a little bit mad, to a temper tantrum and use the Yoshi's body as the source for such. Going to go ahead and give a couple tail whips, throw him on up into the air a bit. What comes up must come down. You're swallowing the wrong way, though, Kirby. As Kirby taking a good amount of damage, but immediately returns and grab kind with yet another grab.
Yeah, getting back to stage, a Yoshi Bomb is a good way to do it, but you got to hold this ledge trap. If you let Kirby get ground position again, some of those, normals that Kirby has on the ground are just so strong. And if you have to get back to the stage from disadvantage, dealing with those is going to be even more difficult. And of course, throwing out a back air is a great way to close out the stock against a character like Yoshi, who's going to be looking for a jump recovery from the ledge, because what other options do you have? I mean, you can drop down, jump nair, but if you get caught, you have no jump and you're at high enough percentage that knockback's going to throw you too far off for you to recover with just the egg toss. So you can't do something too risky like that, especially at that percentage. So you had to just jump higher. And of course, that's just going to be an easy read, because if you just do a neutral get up or if you do a roll get up, Kirby's super strong, far reaching normals are going to cover your grounded options too well. So it was a good analysis in the moment from the Kirby to recognize that the Yoshi was going to do something like that and call it out with that jump read.
Yeah, I feel like Miami, Ohio, from the times that I've seen them in the past, is a very, very disciplined squad. So you got your work cut out for you as you're continuing to go through it. And this Kirby still got two stocks left. They only dropped one stock in that matchup. So see how the next bit of competition comes out, as Kirby is not something that I feel like a lot of people have been prepared for when we've been seeing it. So let's see what they got. I want to see what Cornell has.
Let's get into it. Maybe a sortie would be a good way to respond to a
Sorry.
Kirby. Oh,
Ooh.
interesting. And Incineroar is not a terrible way to respond. You kind of nullify a lot of those grounded normals. However, with Kirby having multiple jumps, it means that it's going to be a lot more difficult for you to get like an Alolan Whip read. You have some good out of shield options and you have some good ways to deal.
Oh.
That's interesting. Looks like we're going for just a full reset again, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have a lot of good ways to deal with like some of the grounded options, and you have far further reaching normals in the air to do some boxing, but on the ground, the pancaking is going to stop you from getting like an F tilt unless you know down angle it. You can't really get a lot of great options on like forward smash. Down smash is okay, but yeah, the multiple jumps from Kirby is going to make this kind of difficult, and being able to edge guard an Incineroar is a great win condition for the Kirby. So it wasn't like the best counter pick situation, but also Incineroar, as we've seen in like the professional scene with SkyJ, has the capability to take out even those worst matchups just by having really solid and straightforward KO win conditions. Things like an Alolan Whip, getting a little bit of revenge, and taking out like a light character like Kirby is not the hardest thing to do. So I think that it's an okay pick. I think that, solid, maybe not the best option, but it's still a good one. So let's get back into it as they're starting back up, sticking on PS2 with the same characters. And we're going to lose our single stock on the side of Miami.
All right, let me see some wild meat hooks. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Every single time I see an Incineroar come out, I'm like, yo, I'm about the lariats. I'm about getting in there. I'm about finessing you with the arm. But the only one getting finessed right now is this Kirby who took a kickboxing class in the meantime, preparing for this little bit of action. As you can see them looking to go ahead and confirm with each other. Kirby's laid in a world of hurt onto this Incineroar.
Yeah, this is that ground boxing I was talking about, getting those down tilts. Like, you don't have a lot of ways to deal with it. You're kind of tall. You're easily comboed in that regard. But if you can make it back to stage, you can maybe rack up some damage quickly. Getting a grab on Kirby is going to be especially difficult as well, not only with the pancaking, but with the constant jumping. And that's kind of like a good way for Incineroar to get a lot of guaranteed damage is through grab combos. So not being able to do that is really difficult. So what are you going to have to do? Like, what are your options? Getting ledge trumped and getting back aired is a good option to make sure that you are now down a stock and Miami's up a full character or full person and character.
He's working him up. He's mixing him up, going in, throwing in. He said he had enough. Go across the ropes and then go across the forearm here. Those biceps would do all the speaking, but Kirby has had enough already. Yet again, going in, laying in some pressure of their own, right back onto the ledge. This Incineroar is getting so mixed up in these different scenarios where Kirby is just jumping up, as you were talking about. They're so aerodynamic. They are a ball of air that is just twisting, turning, contorting, and hitting every single part of Incineroar that they do not want to have hit in every exchange they go into. As you can see, yet again, just one tap, looking for the predict, actually, to be able to go for that ledge grab there. Good defense. This Kirby is a menace.
Yeah. Both of these characters want to be on the ground while the opponent is in the air. Having those big aerials and big grounded moves as Incineroar, you want to stay on the ground and hopefully get Kirby up in the air. But Kirby obviously wants to deal with Incineroar's terrible disadvantage, saying, that's difficult. You can't just go off stage like that against Kirby. There's too many good reversal options.
Oh, no!
They wanted the footstool. They wanted the footstool into maybe like an up B or a footstool into like a down air to close it out quickly and easily. They're looking for the clip at this point.
Yeah, no, I don't blame him. I would be doing the same thing. This is the Kirby tech coming at you. Put him in your mouth, jump off the stage, see what happens in the aftermath. You got all the recovery in the world, and Incineroar does not appreciate any place that you're trying to take him over here. And look at that. Yet again, the same ledge, the same foot right into oblivion. This Kirby honestly just got to finesse this Incineroar in the matchup.
Yeah, even the way that they closed out the game, being able to get that F smash on the cross chop. The cross chop was going straight for the ledge. It wasn't even going to the stage, but spaced it out far enough that that Kirby's F smash kind of like reaches pretty far. It's a good choice, timed really well as well, especially for online. It was just another like, hey, I know exactly what you're gonna do, and so I'm going to prepare for it. And that's what we saw for a lot of that game. So man, that was strong. That was a really strong showing, and this is looking a lot like our first game of the day. This is looking a lot like Benedictine's, very strong showing with their Sephiroth, and the Kirby is looking just as strong. So what is the response? There's, again, plenty of good options to deal with a Kirby. You have a lot of good matchup choices. Incineroar was a tough one. You were kind of hoping for that X Factor win, but you didn't get any of your X Factor options because Kirby doesn't make it easy. Kirby, like Pikachu, has a lot of those pancaking options, very mobile in the air, very difficult to drag down and get your cheesy stuff on. So not only is it like probably an even matchup, maybe a little bit even winning for Incineroar, you have to play it exactly right. And not only is that difficult online, that takes a lot of matchup knowledge. And with Kirby being the most popular character being played in Smash Ultimate across the world, you'd think it'd be more common in the collegiate scene, but it's surprisingly not.
Yeah, it's not something that you get to see all the time, and to prep for it, it becomes a very difficult thing. I want to see what the answer is, especially because of the fact of I think Miami is one of those rosters we've seen them in the past. Miami is so just has a goated roster, really and truly.
Hmm.
Like every single one of their players is a threat. I don't have a read on who the best player is on this team. So if you're on the opposite side of Miami, Ohio, you got to be throwing out your best each time, it feels like, because who's coming up next? Well, it's another raid boss. Let's see who we have coming out from Cornell College here as we are loading in. It is going to be the Robin.
So better ways to box with Kirby in the air. That's great. However, worse ways to deal with Kirby on the ground. So I think that if you are Miami here as Kirby, just play a grounded game, play solid. You didn't lose any stocks in that last game. I mean, it was incredible. And if you're Cornell College here, you want to be doing exactly what Cornell's Robin is doing right now. Jumping and boxing. Jumping and boxing, and otherwise spacing with your Thunders. That's it.
Yeah, this is to give an idea too from the last time we saw Cornell College. Is Robin is the same player as before. Unfortunately, we don't have the confirmation on the player on this, but if it is the same player that was at before that was playing inside the lands for them, they do play this spacing game. They play it very well. The problem that we have seen from them is when the opposition gets in, but this time around, having a good time putting in some decent spacing. It's going to be all on this Kirby to get in and ruin, disrupt a lot of what this Robin's doing. And once you get them off of the stage, this is where we've seen the Robin actually struggle quite a bit because they're not able to regain their footing. And you're getting a hint of this, a little taste of this. Kirby is constantly putting on the pressure and off into the skies, into the screen. In the background they go. What a devastating KO from this Kirby.
And so it begins. The reign of Kirby, once again, is looking strong to not lose a stock and to take out 3 of Cornell's. Miami University looking really solid here, and their player clearly knows the combos with Kirby as well.
Oh, yeah. Miami, Ohio is like this team full of giants, and I'm just like, yo, you guys have been playing Smash for quite a bit of time, right? Like, it's a very terrifying scenario to be inside of. And you can see here, right? Like, this Robin's trying to get their footing back, but it is a character, as somebody who enjoys playing Robin themselves, the one thing I hate is when I feel like I've lost control over the pacing of the match, right? Like I always want to be in control. I want to be dictating where people are going, where my opponent is standing. I want to dictate as many things as I possibly can. And if I can't do that, in a game like Smash, it's hard to keep people out. And we're seeing that time and time again. Yet again, this Kirby, it's just an absolute menace. Nice Nosferatu. You don't have any damage to heal up, sadly.
Yeah, I mean, it's good, like, command grab, guaranteed damage type of thing, but that's not what you need right now. You need to close out the stock. You have some options, again, all based around aerial boxing. You can't space with the Thunders anymore because Miami's Kirby knows how to pancake everything, and so they're just doing that. They're just running up, down tilting so that you can't hit them with any or mid-range or mid-level reaching normals or specials. You can see that they're just running up pancake. They don't even have to shield. So you have to just do aerial boxing. Use those, aerials as best as you can while you have the Levin sword out. Because the second the Levin sword goes away, I mean, it's a whole different issue where you're kind of probably just going to want to run away until Levin sword's back. But while you have Levin sword, throw out options. Throw out your aerials. The Nair is so good. The Fair is a good option. Back air is strong, but probably not the best thing to use against Kirby. Down air is okay too. I mean, just throw out aerials with 11 sword, and then while you don't have it, just camp. That's all you can do.
Yeah, no, that's not something they're getting an option to. The sword is gone. which means that Kirby's trying to put on pressure yet again. And you can see it sword back into the hand. It's almost out of charges at this current moment in time. Robin is going to try and set up some sort of defense. Nice use of the L-Fire, but isn't going to be able to confirm a kill with such. It's just going to make sure that they're able to survive, both characters in KO range, but it's ultimately Robin who gets sent packing. Miami, Ohio. Don't lose a stock again here.
14 stocks to 6. Is that what we're at right now? That's absolutely crazy. They are up way more than Benedictine was, and we thought that was a strong showing from Benedictine, but Miami University is showing up big time. They've only got one player out so far, and I don't know if they decided to front load with their strongest player or not, but in any case, I'm sure the rest of the players are kind of just hoping that they get to play at some point, and it doesn't look like they're going to.
I will say, like, from this roster, Miami, Ohio, from what we have seen from them at the lands, the big thing that was impressive to me was every player was so good. So, in a way, you're right. In a way, you're also wrong, because every player on there can decisively end stocks, can decisively end an entire run very swiftly. They can be that raid boss that's so difficult to deal with. And they have a bunch of unique characters. The Ice Climbers I was talking about is one that pops up into my mind. There's a Mii Fighter player that's inside of this roster, right? Like, there's a lot of characters you don't normally play against, but they specialize. They've built that knowledge. They built the foundation, and they look unbreakable on these picks. And now it's up to Cornell College. What do you got in the kitchen? You got to go back in there and cook something up spicy.
You got to get something going. I'm happy that we're seeing all of these like different tiers of characters showing up. We're seeing a lot of the lower tiers and the mid tier characters make a showing here. That's fantastic and everything, but it would kind of be nice to see whenever like a lower tier or mid tier character is dominating, and you want to see, as a spectator, a close crew battle. You want to see something like fun and even, so that way there's some hype around it, around who's going to win. You kind of hope that somebody's just going to pick a high tier character and then slam the Kirby into the ground, so that Miami University of Ohio has to respond somehow. But we just haven't seen it yet. Will we see it with the next pick, though, from Cornell? Let's find out. Getting into this next game.
Let's see right here. Who is it? Is it Steve? No, it's
great.
It's
good. Okay, not necessarily what I would call a top tier character. Good high tier option, but also a great option for dealing with Kirby. You have the highest reaching, or some of the farthest reaching beyond like Sephiroth normals, probably like the second most in the game. Both normals and aerials. You have so many ways to deal with Kirby, and they all hit ground level as well. So you just play standard. Play as you would against a character that has that short range, against a brawler character, and against a character like Kirby, who is, yes, a brawler, but also kind of has low speed, both on the ground and in the air. All you have to do is space. And so far, Cornell's Shulk is doing just that.
I will say, too, something to keep in mind. Fun fact about Cornell's Shulk here, there was an open bracket that went on in the last LAN event that I had the privilege of being able to cast. This player on the Shulk got second place overall in the entire tournament.
Wow.
Against everybody that was there. That is a very impressive feat, and that is what this player was able to pull out, even going against some of their own teammates throughout it. And actually makes me interested, because if it's the same roster of players that was at the LAN, there's another player that I all of a sudden know who it is, and I'm like, yo, I want to see it. Let me see it, because they normally do not anchor for this team. So seeing this Shulk here has got me all sorts of excited.
Yeah, but just as excited as we got, Miami's Kirby has brought it back at the percentage lead. It seems like the Shulk needs to find that spacing option again, because Miami's Kirby is just able to get in for free, and going for risky options like that down smash and like some of these options that the Shulk has gone for means that Kirby gets to get in closer faster, and that's the opposite of what you want. You want to be able to box from a distance. Pulling out the smash art is really risky, since a lot of your stuff would have killed the Kirby anyways. And so, yeah, having it go away is probably the best option there, because otherwise that forward air would have killed you.
Yeah, going to go ahead and bring themselves back into it. The Shulk is going to stay fine. Go ahead, take on that brick form there, Kirby. But you are going to be sent on back onto the outside of the stage, and now it's a dance amongst the edge of the stage. Nice little hit off the up special. Going to continue swinging back and forth amongst each other, going for the shield for the first time inside of this set. As Kendon said, I need a little bit more weight to my body, my bones. This Kirby hurts. They're hitting. And finally, with the assist to smash, they are just going to send Kirby packing.
Yeah, that fair covers a lot of those get up options, so that was a good choice. However, the Monado arts that you were threatening were not actually any sort of threat whatsoever. You didn't need any sort of offensive Monado art to deal with that. Oh, what a down air, though. Closing that stock right back out, honestly making it look like all the work that you just put in to take out the Kirby stock was all for naught. If you can close out the second one, you might have a good chance at whoever the next player is, but you've really got to close out this Kirby, especially because of how advantageous this matchup is.
Quick switch over into the shield Monado art, trying to go ahead and say, you know what, I want to eat up a little bit of this damage. I want to be a little bit more heavy. It's going to help them get a little bit of momentum back into their pocket, as that is the name of the game. Schultz trying to regain some composure for their squad, dancing off the edge. What a precarious situation to be in against the Kirby. As you can see, they're immediately trying to hunt them down, and they will do such as they quickly switch over to that smash art and send them on. But they cost them 2 stocks to be able to take out the 2 stocks of the Kirby.
It's tragic to see because right before the Shulk from Cornell lost their stock, they had smash art out and could have done that exact same thing that they did to close out the game. But they went a little bit too deep off of stage, lost their jump. And so even if you switch the jump art to get that, further reaching up air slash, you're not going to make it back to stage. So it was a good choice on the reversal. Again, things that you have to worry about when you're playing against Kirby off stage. I think you just play for the ledge trap there, use your advantageous range to keep stage positioning, and cover so many options with like a fair or with like an F smash if Kirby decides to stay grounded. So there was options there, I think, that weren't as risky that the Shulk could have gone for, especially when you're down so many stocks on your team. But that's not what happened, and so Miami University is going to be pretty happy being able to take that last stock before losing their own. And we finally get to see another player from that team.
Yes, we do. And I get terrified a bit at this moment because I'm like, yo, Miami, Ohio has a really, really good roster of players. So I'm wondering who's stepping up, who says, I want to go against the Shulk, right? Because even though the Shulk got second place overall inside that open tournament at the land, right? When it came down to Miami, Ohio, when they had to go against them, the Shulk wasn't able to muster up any kind of offense against like the Ice Climbers, who they ended up having to go against. So let's see. We're going to see who is sent in for Miami, Ohio. Who is the competitor? It's that little Mac.
What? Okay. It's fine. It's fine. And, I'm just going to sit on that. I know a lot of strong little Macs that can take out even some difficult matchups, and this isn't even the worst thing. It's not like Shulk's most winning matchup. I think there's a lot of options, especially with that X factor that we wanted to see from the Incineroar before. There's some options for being able to take out early stocks, even like through shield art. However, you only have to take 1 stock, and you'll have multiple chances with a KO punch to do so. I think there was no better time to bring out the little Mac. Not great that if you take out this stock that you can get counterpicked like a million different ways to Sunday. But if you can take out the stock and say Miami University sends in a player that isn't as equipped to play against Little Mac, regardless of how good the matchup is, this is going to be a tough one to come back from. Yeah, that's going to take it out. Yeah, I mean, first of all, closing out this stock, I probably shouldn't even look as far as the next player because it's difficult enough for a Little Mac player to take out a Shulk. So let's start there.
Yeah. It needs to. All it takes is 1 punch, 1 lucky punch, or 1 precise punch laid into the face. And when you only got 1 stock as Shulk, right, and you're playing against somebody who's going to play this Little Mac is very scrappy. And there it is. It's just 1 punch you need to go in for, finishes things off. And now you go into your net spit of competition. This is what I was actually very interested in because last time we saw Cornell College, their lead in a lot of these crew battles actually is somebody who I haven't seen just yet. And unless they picked a different character on the day, could be an absolute cause. But it is a Terry player who is sitting that I have not seen yet from Cornell College that I'm looking at very expectantly. Like, please let me see that Terry again, because that Terry was very, very fun to watch. And then we all of a sudden have a battle of the go button versus the KO punch. I'm not sure if we're going to see that. Who knows? That player might not be even playing today. But if that Terry player comes in, it would be an interesting thing because in that same open tournament I was talking about, they got 3rd overall inside of that one, getting eliminated by the Shulk, their own teammate that just got eliminated.
Yeah, and Terry's a scary one because you've essentially got a stronger version of Little Mac, somebody that still has a a KO punch type of comeback mechanic with also good offstage options, pretty good recovery options, great aerial choices to be able to box and to get back to stage, way better disadvantage, and an even better advantage state with just as good shield pressure. So plenty of reasons why Terry is a better version of Little Mac, but in the head to head, actually, it's not that simple. The Little Mac has just objectively better boxing options from the ground, no matter what the spacing is there. We saw the Little Mac player close out that last game with a dash forward pivot cancel F tilt to close the gap quickly on the Shulk that wasn't expecting it. And those are the types of things that you can expect in like a Terry versus Little Mac matchup as well. Being able to close that gap with a burst option that Terry cannot prepare for, or just pressure the shield because Terry's out of shield options are not a lot of great things. Like rising tackle is okay, but doesn't cover a lot of ground, and Little Mac can easily space that out. However, we're talking a lot of hypotheticals for something that we don't know is going to happen yet. Let's find out who the next character that Miami, Ohio is going to bring in against this Little Mac. Let's find out in this game right now.
Yeah, or Miami, Ohio University, they're the ones that have that Little Mac and Cornell. Is that Terry, yes, baby? Let's go.
This is going to be a hype matchup. It's going to be super volatile, and it's going to be all about who gets that advantage first. And the Little Mac from Miami keep Terry in the air on the back foot in disadvantage, or will the Terry get advantage and force the Little Mac to make some really risky choices to try to come back, like that counter?
Very tricky situation to possibly find yourself in. It can be very precarious between the two. It feels like we're getting right into it. KO punch is available for Little Mac.
Oh, and it got canceled. Oh man, he let it rip, but unfortunately, the armor frames only last for about 2 frames on KO punch, and the Terry was able to box it out pretty quickly. And so, yes, using it in that risky situation right there was a good idea, but not being able to make it happen means that that stock is as good as lost, and lost it was.
So excited for this too. There's a lot of faith being put onto Cornell College just because of the fact that this is a player, like I said, they normally lead point for their team. In all the battles beforehand, they always took point. They were always the person that set the tone for Cornell College. This time, they've put them into this anchor position. They are showing the faith that they have in this player to be that one, but losing that stock feels devastating, and the KO punch is still available.
All it takes is a couple of up tilts, down tilts, but unfortunately, gonna lose that on the down tilt, rising tackle. And so you've got to box your way back to another stock here because there's no way you're getting another KO punch, even if you make it back to stage.
Yeah. It's back on. Gets another swing in. They're building themselves back up. They're staying alive, but that's not for very long. Terry, make sure of that. 2 stocks left to take on the rest of Miami, Ohio University.
That was an online diff right there. I think that offline, the Little Mac had options there to recover with like an air dodge to stage, or maybe even like an early rising uppercut. But being online means that quick burst option fair from the Terry is unreactable. And so I feel a little bit bad that that's the way that you lose your stock, especially when you were recovering so well on a character with as abysmal a recovery as Little Mac. But such is life online, and you also have a lot of other advantages of playing Little Mac in an online situation, so it balances out either way. Unfortunately, unable to make a whole lot of quick work out of that, and the Terry, as you said and predicted, is looking extra strong for Miami.
It's looking good, right? But the scary thing is every single time the curtain goes down, there is another player that's coming out from Miami. They are a very powerful school when it comes down to this. Inside of the MEC, this is a school that a lot of players are going to have their eyes on. Let's get into our next matchup. This could be the final one. Is this Terry's 2 stocks against a full 3 stocks of... What do they got here? Cloud. Okay.
Yeah, Cornell's Terry, excuse me. Cornell's Terry at 2 stocks against a Cloud is incredibly doable. Got a little bit of a
controller
disconnect here. Okay, they will figure it out, I'm sure. But yeah, the Terry versus Cloud is entirely doable. There's a lot of ways to deal with Cloud, especially when Cloud's in disadvantage, and a lot of ways to box with Cloud up close. So I think that there's no reason why the strong Cornell Terry wouldn't be able to make this happen if they're feeling on point, if they're playing solidly. Yeah, you can get spaced at that mid range, and Terry does like that slightly longer than close range battle when he's against like brawlers or against like other FGC characters. But in a situation where you're against somebody that can space at that mid range, you have options. Just play further away, force the Miami Cloud to come close to you. And if they don't want to, then you just get in really close, and you have options to do that. Just like that, the power dunk is a great way to close the gap, and you also avoid a lot of those hitboxes that the Cloud could throw out in the air to prevent you from getting in. Crack shoot, same situation.
Going forward, nice cross slash to be able to get a good amount of damage onto it. From what I can remember here, I believe this Miami Ohio player likes to play this Cloud very aggressively, get right up into your face. The moment they have limit, expect them to throw it out there. They don't hold on to that limit for a decisive moment. They will let a decisive moment happen at any moment in time, and I actually think that playstyle benefits itself more into online just because of sometimes that unpredictability of just throwing something out randomly and seeing if it sticks. It works so effectively in Smash Online. And
it does, but it doesn't work as effectively against Terry. That's the only issue there. If you're playing aggressively against a boxer, you're going to lose. And so I think that the game plan here is to space with aerials. You just keep out with like spaced out fairs or pressure shield with back airs because of Terry's abysmal out of shield options. So I that's what I think. I think that this is ultimately, if you continue to play the aggressive Cloud, oh, that was a bit of an odd SD, but if you continue to play an aggressive Cloud, it's not going to benefit you. And at 151%, it's going to say just about anything can kill, and just about anything does. Dash attack coming out from Cornell's Terry. You have 1 stock left to make a comeback against 8 stocks on the side of Miami. Can you be the savior of your team's crew battle?
I mean, sure, maybe, but you're lost the stock already, and this is where some of that, hey, I'm just going to throw stuff out and see where it sticks moments coming out. It's laying in a hurt onto this Terry, right? He is taking some chip damage. He lost a stock. I feel like Miami Ohio University, they look at this and they go, yo, that was pretty good. No, that's all we really needed at that moment in time. They could just kind of throw their resources out. 1 stock is fair game, and you can see it's got trying to chase down Terry constantly, but Terry is not having any of it anytime Cloud gets within range.
I believe in Cornell's Terry here. I think that there are, with the limit, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But with Go Online, I fully believe that you will die to a limit cross slash and unfortunately lose the crew battle. That's what I was going to say the entire time.
Remember how I said just throw it out and see if it sticks?
Yeah, that was good. I mean, the limit was a good win condition whenever the Terry has options to beat you up close. So I think it was a noble effort. And it could have happened. It could have happened. But being in disadvantage as Terry with not a lot of options to recover from disadvantage against a Cloud who has limit online to throw out limit cross slash limit blade beam, even limit climb hazard as needed. I think that they were kind of checkmated, especially in online.
It's hard to deal with. It's hard to go through. Cornell College, valiant fight at the end, but wasn't able to make up for the damage that was done by a very decisive start with that Kirby. Very destructive. That is the face of terror, and it looks like Kirby. It's a big old ball of pink. So make sure.
2 back-to-back crew battles that looked very similar there. We were at a super strong first player that kind of made the difference for the rest of it to seem like it was a very decisive crew battle one way or the other, when in reality it was just one player's dominance. Everything else was fairly even from top to bottom, with the exception of the one player. And so I think we're seeing a lot of benefits to being able to, even if that's not what Miami, Ohio did, I think there's a lot of benefits to front-loading your power, front-loading your talent, in order to get that momentum advantage and make it really, really difficult and really unsettling for the opponents to make a comeback. So that was a good choice, and 2 very strong and decisive crew battles to start off our day. We have 2 more for you, I believe, and we're going to take a quick break before we come back and get into our next game. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. Again, you remember how short the last break was. It's going to be just that short this time. We'll see you in just a couple.
Welcome back to the MEC. We're ready to get into yet another series here. My name is Travis. I'm joined here with Kevin with a K. Kevin, we have had two explosive series here in these crew battles. We have been live for about an hour and a half. We've gone through two whole crew battles in less than an hour and a half.
Yes, we have been pumping through it, and we still have a couple more for you guys. We get to revisit Miami University, Ohio in this next crew battle, which I'm excited about, and they're going against Ashland University, who we've yet to see today.
Yes, and last time we got to see these two teams, two differing stories that came around. Ashland having not as great of a time against Miami in the previous time that we got to see him at the LAN. However, Miami is a team that I'm curious if momentum continues to favor them, right? They're coming off a rush. They're feeling good. They're like, yo, everything was just fine in that last series. Everything went according to plan. They had a very, very cozy, comfy time inside that matchup. So this time, you're going into this matchup against Ashland. I wonder if it changes anything for them. If that momentum might give them a little bit bigger head, there's a couple of questions I have when I look over at Miami, Ohio, as they are favorites from what the LAN event had shown us.
Yeah, and so far, they're looking super duper strong. So I'm curious to see what Ashland can bring. Ashland has a much longer roster of players overall that they could shuffle in depending on who's present or who, is interested in playing. So I think that also means that if they did a little bit of research, they would know what Miami University's players have in store character-wise and could sub in a roster of players to counter that as needed. So we'll find out to see if they have any sort of fun character counter picks. Since Miami's roster is kind of set, they've only got like 5 or 6 players, so they can only really have a certain number of people playing at any given time. But Ashland has opportunities to respond. They have opportunities to make a difference here based off of character select almost alone. But are their players strong enough to make it happen? That's what we're going to find out as we get into this first game between Miami University of Ohio and Ashland University. Let's see.
Yeah. What we got here?
Pyra/Mythra is what we're going to be seeing coming out from Ashland, actually.
Yes, so Ashland has a very diverse set. The Pyra/Mythra tends to be at the back end, but it is it's a very interesting setup that could possibly come about. I believe we're doing a little bit of a checking on everything, making sure everything's good to go. And Pyra/Mythra is not afraid to just throw things out as Little Mac. We've already gotten a little taste on how they like to play this Little Mac with some nice recovery when you don't really have the options for such.
Yep. After some research, I found out that Little Mac is Afterglow. So Miami's Little Mac player's name is Afterglow. And Afterglow is looking strong with that first stock being taken out on the side of Ashland University. We'll find out, hopefully see if we can find out who the Ashland University players' names are, but there are so many of them, it is hard to keep up. Oh my goodness, just made quick work of that stock. What was that? That was like a 15-second stock, and you have KO Punch offline now, so you don't have the option for it anymore. But still, being up 2 stocks so quickly, Miami swinging strong with arguably the worst character on the roster. Character, not player.
Yeah, I had to correct yourself very quickly, especially with the type of performance that's coming in. Yeah, Ashland hasn't really been able to find the ability to throw that sword out, right? We've seen them multiple times throw out that sword, get that sword spinning around mid-air, get that mid-range, go for a confirm of some type off of that. That's usually at this player's way of going about things. If they're able to get things going. This is indeed the same player from Ashland University that we had seen at the LAN event. And that is the big thing to keep your eyes on. Nice recovery, good offense off of the ledge. Get a stock back, but they got to fight through 2 more for this Little Mac.
Yep, this is looking really good still. Oh man, that F smash almost took it, but good DI from Ashland University. Aegis has plenty of options to deal with the Little Mac. Oh, but the rising uppercut. Great DI again, understanding that was a DI mix right there. Having turned around, you needed DI away, and DI away they did. You have another chance at life. 118% on Pyra/Mythra is definitely death percentage for just about anything that Little Mac will throw out, but if you can keep Mac on the disadvantage, you have a chance.
Yeah, KO Punch is available now, though. It's a dangerous territory to be inside of, but can't get too overzealous. We haven't seen that KO Punch be definitive just yet. As you can see, trying to search out, trying to connect with it, gets a good punch in. They're charging up, ready to smash. little bit of guessing game going on here on the ledge. Go back into a neutral space.
Yeah, interesting that they decided to throw out those options instead of the KO punch, but playing it safe
Oh.
and going for the rising uppercut out of shield was a good choice. And 2 stocks up again. This is already starting off the same way that it did the last game, and I am worried for Ashland. What's the response?
I the big thing I feel like is I'm thinking back through Ashland and how they played previously, and it was a lot of momentum base that would go through them. Right when they were feeling themselves, it kind of felt like they were connecting between each one of their players. Like, yes, we can continue to do this. Right, they were going through it, but Ashland also found struggles whenever they were behind. So keep our eyes peeled. We're going to go into the Nets match here because I want to get right into seeing what this little Mac could do, because a little Mac on point is not something you get to see every day. And you and me were talking about it before. I do not think there is a strategy to Miami, Ohio University. I think they just like to play their way. I think they just say, yo, who's feeling to being the point guard here? Who's feeling to be the vanguard for us today?
Yeah, I think that's a good choice. They didn't let in. Weirdly, they didn't let their player who didn't get to play the last crew battle play first. I don't know. This also could be like an experience thing. Like their more experienced players want to let their less experienced players get more experience in a battle,
Mhm.
and so they're letting them play more often. Or it's just that they want to keep their strongest players for the end, or their weakest players for the end. I mean, if they're really like that way, it could be. Who knows? But we'll see. We'll see. We've got 2 stocks still though on the Little Mac of Afterglow from the side of Miami University, playing against Ashland's Falco. Love to see it. I am a big fan, not of this color necessarily, but definitely of this matchup. This
What
is
you
a
got
matchup
against
that I have played most as
Burgundy?
my roommate. My roommate is a Mac player, so this is a fun one for me to see. I have a lot of matchup knowledge here. There's a lot of a lot of shield pressure options that Little Mac has that Falco can't deal with, because there's no good out of shield options that Falco can do to hit the Little Mac, especially when Little Mac is behind him. So all you can do is spot dodge or jump, and we saw it right there. So much shield pressure led to that advantage state from Little Mac, and so now you're back on stage. You have to play around your advantage and keep Little Mac either in the air or keep him shielding.
Yeah, well, you see it now. Falco trying to squirrel away from him. Say, go ahead, get back up onto that platform. I need to do a couple up airs. I gotta get my reps in here. But you can see immediate response. KO punch is available and is a possibility at any point in time. It's going to go ahead and have to lose that and a trade between the two, but Falco wins out.
Yeah, not often that wings are going to beat arms there, but the higher percentage means that Falco stays alive and Little Mac loses a stock. So this is a good spot to be in if you're Ashland. You still have your stock. You're definitely going to make this recovery. Oh, but that was just lazy. Going for that high Falco Phantasm, thinking that the Little Mac player was not going to be ready for it. But of course, down smash is an easy way to cover that angle. And yeah, definitely punished for that. Good stuff from Miami's Little Mac to continue to hold the advantage for their team.
Bro, it's Falco's beat on straight after that, right? Like, it spun around a whole 180, and I feel like you're licking yourself a little bit on that one. You're like, man, that one really hit. I can't make something silly like that happen again. But constantly going for these side specials, trying to see if they can just check Little Mac on this. This Little Mac is so ready to throw a punch. We'll throw a haymaker your way any day of the week whenever they see it. They are quick to throw these out. Ashland, you gotta... It's a pretty precarious situation still to be in, and there you go. Falco losing another stock, a KO punch still available.
You cannot fall onto Little Mac's shield with anything. You cannot fall with an aerial. You cannot fall with a jumping phantasm, because there's too many options for Little Mac out of shield. The rising uppercut will catch it, as it's like a 3-frame out of shield option. The up smash is a 5-frame out of shield option, is going to catch it, and you don't have any sort of safety on Falco's aerials to deal with that, or on the phantasm. Phantasm, even jumping phantasm is like 15 frames or something like that out of shield. There's just too many things that Little Mac can do to deal with it. So you cannot play in that close quarters range. You're playing for advantage, or you're playing far away. That's it. If you're boxing with Little Mac, you're going to lose. And so even though we get to see more of the Falco in the next one, taking out all of the stocks on Little Macs from the side of Miami, that was still a really strong showing from Afterglow on Miami.
Only have one stock now, though, on the Falco. So let's see what the answer is. Who's coming out? Is it a player with experience that we didn't get to see in the previous set? Or is it somebody else that came in that we got to see run shop? Let's see. Miami, Ohio, what do you have for us? Mystery unveils itself, and we have the Raid Boss of Kirby coming right back again.
This is a fun match. I play this one a lot as well. Klutz is, I believe, Miami's Kirby player, and we saw a strong showing from Klutz on that last game, or the last crew battle, I should say. So can they continue to make it happen? The fun part about this matchup is that, similarly to Little Mac, you cannot box on the ground up close with Kirby, but unsimilarly to Little Mac, you don't get to have as strong of an advantage state against Kirby. There's a lot of reversal options and a lot of air boxing options that Kirby can throw out. So really, it's about who can get their combos in quickly, and then who can continue to pressure the other one in their disadvantage state, be that through a tech read or through an offstage confirm.
Let's see here. A little bit of aerial combat going on. Float him on up. But this Kirby can sting like a bee in a very quick instance here. No amount of percentage will change that. Nice bit from the side B, and they're trying to just smack up this Kirby. Try to get those percentages climbing and try to look for those KOs off the edge. But this is where it gets scary. We've seen this Kirby before time and time again. Just constantly laying oppression on the sides here. When you're off the stadium, that is free game for this Kirby. This Falco isn't scared.
No, he's playing aggressively, which is the right choice, even when you're down stocks. At the same percentage, you want to continue to play aggressively when you have the option to, because if you play too defensively, the big hitboxes, the coverage from Kirby on moves like that fair. I mean, you just do not have the tools to deal with. If you shielded him, you can maybe up smash out of shield to deal with it, but again, it's like online, you have to be able to make that decision in the moment quickly. It's not feasible. So very strong way for Klutz to just quickly take out that stock and keep a big advantage for the side of Miami.
They're going to continue on with Miami continuing the pressure. You got 3 stocks on this Kirby. We saw what this Kirby did in the previous set. I don't feel like we need to really talk too much on it. We know how good this Kirby is. I feel like if you're Ashlyn, you need to throw out something that's going to be able to hard hit this thing, because we saw what happens when this Kirby gets going and how momentum can just swing in their favor. Ashlyn, I want to see something that can pummel this Kirby and send him into the uprights.
Give me a sortie. Let's find out. Getting into this game.
Is it a sortie? Is it? Oh.
Okay. Not a sortie, but still has a lot of that range and some disjoints to deal with Kirby. So this is good. This is okay. The only issues that you have to deal with is Kirby's incredibly small hitbox. You're not going to be able to do afterburner kick to catch Kirby for the most part unless you read a singular jump. Double jump's going to avoid the afterburner kick. You can do heel slide to catch Kirby on the ground from a pretty far distance, and that's a good option as well. And some of your boxing options on the ground, like down tilt, outrange the Kirby. But as far as comboing the Kirby to death, which is kind of Bayonetta's necessary route to kill, you're not going to be able to confirm on Kirby as well as you would, a taller character, or maybe even like a Cloud. So it's going to come down to getting the Kirby down to higher percentages is not going to be an issue. Killing the Kirby is. If you can't confirm the kill pre 100%, Kirby might make it to like 150%.
Troublesome to be inside of. This is I forgot that Ashlyn even had the Bayo. To be honest, it's sitting there in the bag. This Bayo can swing wild very quickly too. Just pause time for a bit, get that witch time going up, and they can really find themselves schmooving throughout this. But I like the fact that they are giving this space, but I'm also questioning it at the same time, because I'm like, he's just gonna do that.
Just dash attacking. It's so odd. It'd be very easy to shield and punish at that point, but throwing out an F smash, they're really just like throwing out wild moves because they feel like it'll be easy to hit. That's a tough spot to be in. I mean, easy recovery for Bayonetta, but the down air from Kirby can severely gimp Bayonetta's recovery. All you have to do is catch one of those witch twists, and even with a jump reset witch twist, you're not going to make it back.
See, they're just throwing in the pressure. Both these players are perfectly comfortable with each other here. Nice recovery coming about. Good bit of offense coming in. Just launch them into the air. This Bayo is laying in some good response damage. And yet again, the wild F-smash, as you were talking about earlier on. Just constantly looking to bring in that fist from another plane and just smack them on up.
Yep, but 107% on this Kirby means that you can't get a combo kill confirmed. Not that that's what Ashlyn's looking for right now anyways. However, a few more percentage on the Kirby, and you could kill with a jab. F-throw is going to take about 150% from the Bayonetta to actually kill. So let's find out what's going to happen. Really, this dash attack from Kirby, arguably his worst move, has been doing so much work for Miami's side, but throwing out an F smash seems to be the way to get a kill confirmed for Bayonetta, and that's how both of those stocks have actually gone.
Yeah, it's just been those punches that come out each and every single time, and you can see it here yet again, laying in some good pressures. Kirby's getting in the hurt. Bayonetta is getting the pain laid upon them, but they're not dropping the stock yet. They are still continuing to apply the pressure, and you can see both of them trying to dash attack with each other at that moment in time. But Bayonetta coming out on top, carry him into the heavens, and there they go, right into the skies. But is barely able to stay alive in that instance. Oh, but yet again, another F smash, bro. Kevin, what? Kevin got pulverized by that fist, bro.
In the infamous words of Didi, neutral get up bot. That was just constant neutral get ups and getting punished by the F smashes. One was a roll get up, to be fair, but you should never be in a position where Bayonetta gets kills with some of these slow smash attacks. I mean, it's the only thing that covers so much space that the Kirby can't avoid it. But the fact that you're being in these positions so many times that you get killed 3 times by arguably the only thing the Bayonetta can throw out to kill you if they can't combo you to death, it's just wild to me. I think there were a lot more ways that Klutz could have played that a little bit safer, a little bit more disciplined, and a lot more ways that they could have held their advantage. However, I don't think that, it could be an online diff as well, but I don't think that the Bayonetta from the side of Ashland necessarily played it poorly. I think that they saw what was working, saw what they could punish with, and decided to throw that out until Miami's Kirby was going to respond to it in kind. And they never did. So, of course, it's an okay thing to just continue to slam your face into your opponent if they're not going to respond to it.
Yeah, and I like it. It was almost like they were daring them to come into range to be smashed, right? Like, it was a lot of moments like that. Like, come on, dash attack me, see what happens. So, I wonder if they might turn around and give some notes. We got our next matchup queued up, it looks like, and I feel like you're probably the Kirby went back to the team and just said, yo, hey, don't dash attack. They're kind of expecting that. They're kind of expecting you to go a little bit crazy, a little bit wild.
Let's see this next game. Is it the Ices? Is it going to be the Villager? Is it going to be the Brawler? Let's find out. It's the Brawler. Yeah! They're going to send in Scoops. Yes. All right. Scoops from the side of Miami University. Great stuff, by the way, from Ashland to close this back up. That full character advantage has now just gone down to a single stock advantage. This is looking a lot tighter than the previous games that we watched. And I'm super happy to see that. That was BM. They should restart that one. I don't know about that. I think they're maybe going to. Maybe this is a stall tactic, but that was rude. Yeah, they're going to restart that one. You had invincibility off of the platform, and you went up and you did a grab. That's super BM. And there's no way to even that back out so that the game starts from like a neutral position again. Even if you even up the percentage in like 10%, it still is like 10%. That means that Me Brawler is not going to be able to get some of the 0% combos that Me Brawler has. So it's just, it was, I think, probably an oversight. I'm guessing it wasn't intentional. It was just like a force of habit. Oh, I just died, came back from platform.
Heat of the moment.
Use my invincibility. Exactly. Yeah. So no shade thrown either way, but definitely gonna have to restart that game. That's respectable.
Yeah, respect that. Immediately recognizing the decision and was just like, you know what? Yeah, I kind of fumbled the bad there. Here we go, back into it. Cena, one of the things I do really love, by the way, is at the LAN when we had the Mii Fighter, the Mii Brawler that was coming in, had a completely different outfit. They had like the Kill Bill aesthetic going on. They stick with the yellow theme, but you're seeing a little bit more of that coming in as they're going ahead and mixing them up. This Mii Brawler is so exciting to see, Kevin, and be ready for a lot of these primary Lotuses to just continue to pulverize.
Yeah, I was curious about what their loadout is. They might have best in slot. Yeah, shot put, the suplex. If they're running anything besides Thrupper, I don't think that's the right choice. Helicopter Kick has some options as well, but not against lighter weight characters, I don't think. And then if they're doing anything that isn't like Flip Jump on their down B, I think that that's wrong as well. Suplex doing work, though. Oh my
I'm telling
goodness.
you, bro, I'm telling you, this Meat Brawler is fresh off of a Naruto marathon. They just saw Rock Lee take off the weights, and they go for these primary lotuses every single time. You know, like, you know what my favorite move is? It's taking you 20 feet up into the air and slamming you on your neck. And he's just constantly doing it.
Yeah, it's disgusting to see, honestly. The Thrupper and the Flip Jump are going to close out the loadout, so that is arguably, some people would say BDK, Burning Dropkick, is the better side B, but I think Suplex has more use cases that can provide for like a mix-up, since it is a command grab. I think it's just the better choice in general, since you have Flip Jump to cover the recovery. Good punish, understanding the frame data, getting the up smash out of shield to punish the very lazy heel slide to try to get something quick in. If they'd done Afterburner Kick, that would have been a lot safer and a little would have given them more options out of end lag. But they went for a heel slide again. Could have been missed input. Maybe it was just a lazy choice, but that was smart. I think Scoops is a very strong player, showing that they can read you early and make you very flustered as the game continues to go on. Nobody likes getting suplexed 4 times in a row. But in any case, it's just going to come down to what Ashlyn can respond with, because that's a mounting advantage that started from ultimately was a very small one.
Yeah, no, this is one of those situations where you kind of go back. You're going to go back to the lab with that, and you're just going to go, you know what? Man, that was annoying. And that's what you tell your teammates. Their teammates don't get any info from that because they saw you get C-flats. You kind of get a little flustered by that because you're like, what do I do into a command grab, right? What am I doing here? What is life? What is existence? It's just getting suplexed over and over and over again. And while this brawler is not invincible, we have seen other people come up with some good strategies to actually deal with it. This brawler is very quick. They're very much so aggressive with those suplexes. They're not afraid to throw them out. And between those and those bowling balls coming out, it becomes a very dangerous and precarious situation when you're in the stage with them.
A lot of top players argue that Me Brawler is a top tier character for a lot of reasons. Has a lot of the same speed and the same moves, honestly, as Fox, with a lot of the same confirms, but also having 0 to death combos, especially if you're running Thrupper. And then running suplexes, having a command grab to mix in just to add additional damage. It's a super underrated option for the side B as a suplex, just to rack up damage. But in any case, it's a strong character, and Scoops clearly knows what they're doing, not only with their loadout, but in just a little bit that we got to see in that gameplay. They know what covers what confirms they can go for, and how to get your opponent to start spot dodging and jumping more. And it's just a good conditioning tool. This looks like honestly like an FGC player that's just transitioned over to Smash and has chosen the best conditioning loadout. And I'm super hyped to see what they can do in their next matchup against whoever Ashlyn decides to bring out.
Can we see? Unveil the curtain on us, please. I believe we have our next matchup here and ready to go. Here it is. It is the Cloud.
This is a good choice. I think this is a solid choice. This covers a lot of that mid-range to prevent the Me Brawler from getting in, and you have enough range to not get out of shield optioned at all. Yes, it's a full character down, so you're going to have to make a lot of work happen here, and the suplex doesn't quite close the range, especially if you continue with that aerial drift that Cloud is so known for. You have great tools to deal with this. I don't think this is a good matchup for Me Brawler, but it's going to come down to whether or not Scoops has the matchup knowledge or Ashlyn's Cloud can play solid enough to make the matchup seem like it's supposed to be.
Yeah, well, you got a couple different options for yourself, as you were talking about. From Ashlyn University, though, they get the limit, but they're going to get broken instead.
Yeah, down throw Thrupper is a good kill confirm there, especially off the top platform. That was interesting. It looked like Ashlyn's Cloud actually SDI'd in and then continued to DI in, which is an option, but in any case, I don't think it was DI-able. So it was just a good confirm from Scoops to begin with. So
yeah,
making sure that this gap continues to grow at 71% on the Cloud and at 4 stocks advantage for Miami. What do we do? I mean, what does Ashlyn do?
Get sent into orbit again. Right there. That's what they do. This Cloud is not having a great time into it. The sword is not mightier than the fist, and they have studied the fist. But that time, you know, an up smash will be able to take care of things for you. Go ahead and get that going. But you've got a big hill to climb, and Cloud, Well, they're no stranger to adversity on their day-to-day life in RPGs, and Smash is a different story with this Mii Brawler in front of them.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's 70% if you can make this comeback happen. I think that, like the previous games we've seen, a lot's going to be left up to the last player from Ashland. But this is a very aggressive Cloud that does not need to be playing as aggressive as they are. They need to be playing spacing tools way more often than they are.
Right up into the faces. As you can see, yet again, going up special. Get ahead and use that as much as they possibly can. Limit almost available. It could be a big use. Bowling ball comes out. What will they throw out? They just throw out the raw limit break cross slash, and it's just going to be back to the neutral game as is.
Yeah.
Oh.
And there it is again, the Thrupper. DI'd in again. I don't think that's how you're supposed to DI Thrupper, but regardless, I think it would have killed in any of those cases. 3 kill confirms, all with down throw Thrupper, I believe. Just good matchup knowledge, using that center platform that is as big as it is to your advantage. I think that Scoops did a really good job playing the different stage positionings and choosing the right choices for each of those positions on the stage. Just a solid showing. Felt like a better player diff more than anything.
I think you're right. I don't have anything really additional to add on to that, just because the fact that it's just really good stuff coming out, right? You brought up the bad points that were coming out from the Cloud, right? Trying to play that as aggressive as they were kind of played into the hand of the Mii Brawler. So I feel like if you're next up, this time you might look over and just be like, all right, it wasn't the Suflets that got you. It's the Thrupper. You got to watch out for that instead. Like the notes are going back to this last player from Ashland is going to be really something else. Let's see what they got, what they pick here. They are the anchor. They are the last member standing from Ashland University, and it's an Incineroar, baby.
Man, a lot of character overlap across these schools. It's very interesting to see. I think we've seen a couple of Kirby's, we've seen a couple of Incineroars, a couple of Clouds, and even a couple of Falcos, I believe. So this is going to be a fun one too. Only one stock to take off of the Brawler, but Brawler versus Incineroar is another one of those super volatile matchups. They both essentially have a command grab from distance, with Suplex being a little bit faster, but with Alolan Whip being a lot more powerful. It's going to come down to who throws it out first. Exactly. Who throws it out first?
I was waiting for it. This is the game I'm here for. Yeah, welcome to Suplex City versus the Lariat Town. We got everything coming in. Nice counter coming in from Incineroar, but Mii Brawler immediately making them taste some fists.
Yeah, knowing to DI out was smart there, but also the choice of town and city was great. These high ceilings are going to prevent these early Thrupper kills, and also these rotating platforms mean that you're not going to get a crazy Thrupper kill early. However, the shallow walls are going to mean that the Alolan Whips kill very early, but at 151%, anything can kill off the top, and Up Smash does just that for Scoops.
Go for it, and hey, look, grab the kitty, put him down, give him a nice head pat with some dirt. Incineroar is trying. They want those lariats. They want to get in there. They want to get in the face of this Brawler, but every time they do, this Brawler is finding just that little leg up to be able to get in, but good spacing, good use of those lariats. Spin your arms right round and bring in a fiery drop kick.
Ooh, the down tilt catching the jump. Everybody jumps there, and so it's smart for Ashland's Incineroar to know what to do there.
That was clean. Very much so, a very clean showing. And now, Incineroar, though, they are the last person up. One more stock for them to be able to get things cleaned up. However, they have their last stock after yet again getting
last stock
up.
of the crew battle from the Ashland's Incineroar, and Miami University still 7 on the back end. Let's find out if the Incineroar can take out this last stock and then maybe run through the next 2 characters. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. Scoops is looking too strong.
It's a hard character to run back with, too, I feel like. And you're seeing it. Nice lariat. Going to go ahead and continue forward, but not going to be able to find the target. Good use of space coming out from this Mii Brawler. Really understanding the stage.
Yep, and using the back airs, keeping Incineroar on the disadvantage. You have a lot of options for ledge trapping and edge guarding the Incineroar, but I think that Scoops is relegated to racking up damage and going for out of shield kill confirms or punishes on poor landing options. I think that's just good choices.
Yes, and going to continue. Another bowling ball. Doesn't find its mark, but the kick will. Those down The back airs, they were too much of a menace, man. And Incineroar couldn't find the space closed for them to be able to show off their biceps in the Mii Brawler. What a good
Yeah.
showing.
Yeah, Ashland's Incineroar was throwing out a lot of stuff there. I think that all of these players just kind of panic at the very end because they want to do well. They want to make the comeback for their team, but they can't quite. So they're going for these risky options. Jump from Legend, Lolan Whip is just it's risky. It's super high risk, medium reward, especially when you're facing the opposite direction. As shallow as the walls are, if you get a sweet spot of Lolan Whip, you're across the stage. It's not going to kill. So I think that it was too risky for the amount of reward that it was going to give and the amount of times that he was throwing out that Alolan web. I mean, Scoops just knew what to do. And so, the jump back air was just an easy way to cover not only a jump get up, but also a drop down attack get up or like a drop down Alolan whip get up. Also, I think covered his role. So it was a good choice all in all. And Miami's looking strong. They're just looking very strong. They're taking out these schools like it's clockwork for them.
Yeah, nope, very clean, very methodical. These players are showing it yet again. They came off the LAN as winners, and now they're here inside the MEC, and they're showing that they might just be one of the teams to beat. But there's more teams here inside the MEC conference. We're going to go ahead and send it over to a short break, and when we come back, we're going to be going into our final series of the day. So make sure you do not touch that browser, as we will be right back.
It's
Hello, everyone. Welcome on back to the MEC. My name's Travis D. I'm joined here with Kevin over K. Kevin, we have had some very decisive crew battles on the day. And you know what? One school has gotten 2 wins. We got a chance for another school to also find themselves at sitting today with 2 wins.
That's true. Benedictine started off today with a very strong showing in their first match, and they're coming back around to us in this next one versus Cleveland State University. We saw a lot of strong players on Benedictine earlier, especially that starting off that Sephiroth player was looking really spicy. So I'm wondering if Cleveland State has an answer for that specific matchup. They would have gotten to see this one before they played if they wanted to, and I'm not entirely certain if they have an answer, but we will find out.
Yeah, I mean that's the joy of being where we are inside of it. We're in the commentator booth. We don't have to find that answer. It's up to them. We just get to enjoy the aftermath of was it the correct answer? We can go onto the chalkboard all we want to, but what matters is we get into our destination here.
Let's find out. Let's get into this first game between Benedictine and Cleveland State.
Bowser come out versus Chimpus here.
Oh, they're going in and Bowser, Bayonetta. What an interesting go-around.
An interesting matchup. Bowser's actually a pretty solid heavyweight character in this game, from what I understand.
It's like we might have some commentary already here for you guys.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out too. I was like, that's not your voice. That's not my voice.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and mute that one for now, so that way you get to hear us, because that's more important than hearing that guy in the game audio. Just kidding. Obviously, everybody has value, and, it's good stuff nonetheless. But we're starting off with Cleveland University's Bayonetta versus Benedictine's Bowser.
Yeah, so as we're going through all this, you see Bowser's an interesting case too, right? We heard some of the insight from that the one person that had hijacked the commentary booth for a moment there. This Bowser is a very interesting, intriguing person to actually run into inside of Smash, just because they're one of the old classics. They got that booty slam. If I remember right from seeing from how this Bowser likes to play. This Bowser likes to get up in your face and do a lot of spins, and there's a lot of defensive moves using that flamethrower over the ledge to try and secure those ledges.
Yeah, I think the stage choice of Town and City was also probably on the side of Benedictine. Being able to avoid getting killed off the top from Bayonetta is always a good choice, especially when you're playing this heavyweight character that can get comboed so easily. And yes, even though you killed off the top there, Bowser has so many options for killing off the side. What with the forward air, F tilt, you have so many choices. But a witch time into up smash is going to take you out again, tall ceiling or not.
Yeah, no, that's almost at 200% was that Bowser, right? Like that's dangerous for you, no matter who you are. You can be stealing princesses or whatever your hobbies may be, Bowser, but you're not recovering from that. So 1-1 in terms of the stats, very close matchup between the two of them. We're seeing both of their strengths actually getting highlighted quite often here, but it's Bayonetta who's kind of found their groove and is really just smacking up this battle. Look at how they're carrying them into the heavens itself. That is disgusting.
Yeah, Cleveland State said, you know what? I don't care that you picked Town and City. I have combos to kill you off the side as well. So you just made it easier for me to do that. And that's exactly what he did. That was a fantastic combo from Cleveland's Bayonetta. Can Benedictine turn this back around before losing their last stock? with the percentages mounting and the combos still climbing, you kind of hope that you can find an opening as a Bowser to get in instead of just getting juggled constantly. How do you get back to stage?
I mean, with a hope and a prayer, it feels like at this moment in time with the way the bayonet is playing. But hey, how about you just pick them up and bring them back down into the ground the hardest way you possibly can? Let gravity take the wheel. That could be a method that could come in, but all those
The
shots
guns.
right off the heels. What are you gonna
Oh.
do?
Nobody ever expects the bullet time. Nobody ever uses that. And so
Nobody does.
it's such a good choice. It's a great choice because Bowser has very linear recovery options. You know,
Mhm.
yes, you have some ways that you can mix up Whirling Fortress's recovery by either spamming B or, pressing it lightly in between. Like you have ways to mix up slight variances, but bullet time covers a lot of that. And especially when Bowser is falling, I mean, what are the choices, right? Like you jump back to stage, your low airspeed is going to make it to where the Bayonetta can respond, it stop the bullet time by shielding it, and then just run towards you. I mean, you either fall and try to air dodge the bullet time, and then you're already still going to be in a kind of a tough position to get back. But at least the Bayonetta is an end lag, so you have time to touch the ledge without getting edge guarded.
Mhm.
Or you jump early and then you have no jump. All you have is an air dodge, and you have to deal with Bayonetta either reading your air dodge with like an up smash whenever you fall back towards the stage, or jumping up and catching you with a back air, which is going to be hard to react to online. So it was not exactly a checkmate scenario right there, but it was a good choice from the Bayonetta player to use the bullet time, and an
Mhm.
unfortunate choice for the Bowser player to not either jump or air dodge there, just getting caught and dying from a move that usually doesn't kill.
Yep. And now we're in a situation where this Bayonetta has two stocks to themselves. They are going to be sitting here, sitting nice and pretty, waiting for their next opponent. Not a bad situation to be at if you're Bayonetta too, right? With the fact that you can just kind of carry people around in the aerial game. It does make me kind of question who do you want to bring in here. I feel like even though there's like counter matchups you can bring in, I think comfort is king at this moment in time because you got to work through two stocks here and then you got to be ready for your next opponent.
Just don't bring in the Sephiroth. I think that's the wrong choice against Bayonetta. I think that you have a strong Sephiroth, but Bayonetta has too many options to deal with Sephiroth quickly. Sephiroth's end lag on his abilities and his moves, his normals are crazy long. If you do an F tilt on Sephiroth, like, yes, you cover a lot of space, but Afterburner kick is fast, and that will catch you. Like, even out of shield, I think you can just jump Afterburner kick pretty quickly to catch like an F tilt miss, but also you can just kind of space it out, and you have choices to deal with that. Heel slide. Another thing that can happen is you're grounded. You low profile, let's say like an aerial forward air from the Sephiroth, and you either catch the landing or you hit the shield, and Sephiroth doesn't have a good out of shield option to deal with your pancaking, like your crawling animation that you can do right after your heel slide. So I think that Sephiroth is the wrong choice. Let's see what they decide to bring out from the side of Benedictine.
Here we go. And is it a choir singing in Latin? It is not. It is a choir that is singing some 80s
Good
rock
choice.
right now. It's Terry coming on to the map. I like this. I'm with you on that. I heard that good choice. I personally, I love a Terry whenever I get the chance to see him, but I also just love the idea of picking this Terry into the Bayonetta.
Yep, I think that's a good choice. Unfortunately, Benedictine was only able to take out one stock from Bayonetta instead of two to start this out, so it's a big more of a comeback to make. But you have a lot of boxing options up close. You're gonna get to go very quickly because the Bayonetta can just get you to go very quickly. Like right here, you're gonna have go, but you're not gonna die. Exactly. Now you're gonna be able to get back to stage, and you have options to prevent the Bayonetta from getting in. Power Geyser, for example. Oh, that was a great Buster Wolf. So that was very interesting. It looked like he got witch timed or maybe bats within, but was not an end lag, and so was able to recover and get that out quickly. Oh, but getting off stage and getting bullet timed again, I mean, that's yikes.
Yeah, it's a bit risky to be like, yo, I get my high percentage, I get the go button, I got my comeback factor. You know, it's great, it's great. The fact is, though, you have to take damage whenever you take into the idea of that's your strategy inside of a matchup. If you let your guard down and you let them hit you with another one of those combos, that becomes the troublesome part. And Bayonetta is very good at chaining these things together. And look at how clean this Bayonetta is about just racking you up, just smacking you all the way up, carrying you across the map. It is absolutely brutal. It's almost as if there is a dictator on this field right now, and it's this Bayonetta just commanding Terry where to go. Thankfully, was able to get a nice punch in there, hit him up, get him off of the map, and get away another stock from this Bayonetta. But you got their work cut out for him still in this last stock.
goes online. If Benedictine can close out this stock, then they're only going to be a single stock down in this crew battle, which is a super great place to be in. The jab isn't going to quite kill at this percentage. It was very close, and the bullet time's not going to make it happen either, but that's going to be probably death. Oh, he still had his jump. He held his jump that entire time. Oh, Power Geyser just misses. Okay, just sticking with a bread and butter combo. Get the Bayonetta to a higher percentage. Oh, went for something too crazy there. Why? Why back all the way up in F smash? You really think he was gonna roll like that? You had everything. You had everything you could have ever wanted, and you just threw it away on an F smash charge. That was a questionable decision to say the least.
Yeah, misprediction coming in, and unfortunately, it is not to their benefit. They are going to find a lot of damage done to them very quickly. That is the thing about this Bayonetta. You can hurt them really quickly. You can send them off the stage really quickly, but this Bayonetta can rack up damage very swiftly if they're able to just get that precise combo in and get in. Lay in a good amount of hurt, send them up. They have great recovery, so this should be fine no matter what. They're looking to see what they predict, and yet again, the Bayonetta gets in there, gets right up into the face of this Terry. Terry is not able to read off these ledges.
Yep. If you can get back to stage, though, and you can throw out a Power Geyser, you might have a chance here. Oh, good spot dodge on the jab. Oh, but the grab is fantastic. Yeah. The F throw is not going to quite take it, but how do you get back to stage here? You wanted to jump off the platform there. You didn't quite get it, so it's going to take you a little bit longer to get back to stage. And now you're scrambling. What can you do? You got to throw out a Power Geyser at some point here. Okay, just throwing out some very quick little guys to maybe make them think that you're going for Power Geyser. Oh, but the Buster Wolf.
Oh, nice throw here. Throws them back. Gets a little bit more of that damage. These have not been their friend.
ABK back there, yeah.
The ledge game is not the benefit of Terry here. Terry had a hard time predicting what Bayonetta was going to do off the ledge. And 2 times now, off the ledge, just coming in there and immediately smacking them up. Kevin, I know you were looking at that and you were gritting your teeth a little bit. You're like, oh no, you could have just done this. But
yeah, the end positioning was difficult, right? Like the ABK burst option is tough. You saw that they missed it, but the end lag on ABK is so low that you just get back aired when you're trying to make a response option. It's tough. You were probably waiting for your auto turnaround there to make something happen. You might have been able to rising tackle and catch it, but it's tough in that situation because you have to make a quick decision and you're in online. So I blame the Terry player not at all for the way that game closed out. However, you had a way to close out the game yourself before it got to that position. 150% on Bayonetta. Bayonetta is a light character, all for naught. That entire stock gets refreshed, and you could have at least, mitigated the damages to where you were still at a 2 stock deficit for your team. But now it's way further off than you could have ever wanted. It's a 4 stock deficit now, and this is tough. This is a tragic place to be.
Yeah, you need to clear off this Bayonetta quickly because we saw it before. Bayonetta will carry you. They will take you out very quickly. If they get 1 touch, it can be a touch death. Let's see what the response is on this side here. Is Bayonetta still in the field? They have 1 stock to the name, but it's a wolf coming in here. You said good choice last time.
It was a good choice last time. The player made the mistake, not the character. So this is a good choice for a different reason. This is a safe pick. I think that you play fundamental, you play strong, and you take out this 1 stock on the Bayonetta. If you lose your own stock, whatever. It sucks, and you guys are still down, some stocks. But if you lose 1 stock but can take out the 2 from Bayonetta, it's still a good position because Wolf, similarly to some of the previous things I said before, doesn't have a whole lot of terribly losing matchups. And I think that it's just a very safe pick. Now they're going to reset this game, it looks like.
Yeah.
I think it's I think it's fine. I think you play fundamental, you play safe. You have a lot of air mobility to avoid a lot of the options that Bayonetta has. You just have to avoid the ABK range. If you can avoid the afterburner kick range and stay a little bit further away and use your laser, or you stay a little bit closer and use your quick options on the ground or your massive aerial options and continue to mix up the position, Bayonetta doesn't have a lot of good choices. You can space out so that Bayonetta's Witch Twist does not hit out of shield. You can play this smartly, and all you have to take out is 1 stock. That's it.
I think the big thing for me here, too, is the fact that I just look at how this Bayonetta has been playing. I do think I look over and I just say, you know what? Hey, this is a scary character, right? Like the fact that they've already knocked out 2 whole players, right? You're on your third player. If they take out one more stock, this player is feeling great about themselves, right? And Bayonetta, we've seen it time and time again, touch of death every single time they get to be able to hit one thing onto you. They will confirm that into something extra. And that's what good Bayonettas will do. They will go in here, go in with those kicks, immediately start juggling you through the air, and then just continue this onslaught. And Wolf is feeling a good bit of that pressure now.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if all the damage racks up on you as Wolf. All that matters is that you take out the Bayonetta first. That's the only thing that matters. However, that requires you to be on stage. And if you can get back to stage, if you can get stage positioning without getting juggled, you have a chance. 84% is absolutely kill percentage for some of the options that Wolf has. And it's definitely kill confirm percentage. A little bit too slow on the F smash. Didn't have a choice there. That wasn't going to hit either way. But now you're in a scramble situation, 120% on Wolf. You might lose the stock before you can get what you want.
Yeah, it's a troublesome spot, and this is why I was talking about that one stock. I absolutely see a world in which you take care of this Bayonetta, and the Bayonetta is not able to find that situation that they're looking for, right? That ideal situation where they're able to wipe a whole another character with one stock. It's a hard matchup, but good on Wolf. They are able to find it. Up smash goes in. Bayonetta is spit out. 3 stocks to work with the Nets opponent, and this could be a breath of fresh air for the Benedictine squad.
Yep, that was a good choice. The out of shield options are stronger for Wolf than they have been for the previous characters, and you can punish some of the lazy stuff that we saw the Bayonetta doing in the prior matches. So it was just good awareness, good analysis of what had happened in the past, close out that stock quickly, and now you have 3 stocks to deal with a fresh character. Yes, you are a full character's worth down, 3 full stocks down on your team, but because Wolf is a strong and safe pick, you have a chance to close this out with minimal damages done to your team. The question is, do you have the fundamental ability to, or are you going to get counterpicked? Because guess what is an interesting matchup? Wolf versus Sephiroth. It's not necessarily advantageous for Wolf, but it's also probably the worst spacey for, well, no, Fox is the worst spacey for Sephiroth to deal with by a long shot, but it's still more of an even matchup. So I guess it'll come down to what they decide to throw in on the side of Cleveland State. I don't even know if they have a Sephiroth, so we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. Drum roll, please, as we go ahead and see what we got going on here. It is Wolf versus Zero Suit Samus. So ZSS coming at you. And if I remember right from the times that I got to see this ZSS popping off, look out for a lot of these little lightning whips that kind of come across, right? You're looking to see that neutral game being played quite often, and then they're just going to try and confirm that into more. But this Wolf is not letting them breathe at all.
Yeah, this is going to be a very aerial game. Both of these characters have insane aerial mobility. And so we're going to be seeing a lot of jumping around. I don't think we're going to be seeing a lot of grounded gameplay. Neither of these characters actually has great grounded options to deal with the other. F tilt on Wolf is not going to hit anything that ZSS is going to get in range for. And ZSS using like Plasma Whip, for example, is only going to be good in some niche scenarios. So it's just going to be about boxing in the air. Wolf needs to get closer to box. ZSS wants to stay further away to box. And this matchup is not, super one-sided is what I'll say.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those kind of ordeals, right? Where if Wolf gets in, Zero Suit will not enjoy that, but that plasma, like you were talking about, just constantly throwing it out there, it does make it a bit harder for Wolf to get in. But Wolf has been able to find some impressive damage to be able to lay onto ZSS, but a nice hit there, really putting them into a precarious situation. They're both on even ground in terms of percentage.
Yep. Yeah, and that's not exactly what you want to be at as Benedictine, because then you lose your stock, and ZSS has some rage to rack up some damage, and Cleveland State does not need a mounting advantage here. They only need incremental advantage. Oh, great down smash, though. Evening up the stocks is crucial in this specific situation. And so now what you want to get is your guaranteed Wolf combos. Drop fair, jump fair, get some damage there. Maybe down throw into dash attack will still do some damage before a little bit more percentages racked up. But the laser's a good choice too. Wolf Blaster dealing some damage from afar, forcing the ZSS to get in on you. The question is, how do you respond to the options that ZSS uses when they get on you? And it's difficult because you have to pick the right one. You don't just have like massive overall coverage, and now you're off stage. Good Wolf Flash to get back.
Yeah, we're seeing it a lot of times too, right? They're trying to confirm. They're shielding this Plasma Whip that's coming out, and they're trying to go for smashes of their own, but they are getting countered quite often in regards to those, as ZSS is prepared for them to try and throw something out right after that plasma whip. So they're constantly just judging them when they're going in for those. And it feels like the ZSS, everything that they're starting off with that plasma whip, it's giving them quite a good amount of momentum because it's giving them the space, it's applying pressure, and the Wolf is getting caught off guard from that pressure. It's these moments in between that we're able to see Wolf get in and lay in the hurt that's been able to keep things so close. And honestly, this might be the closest matchup between two players that we've seen today inside the group battles.
Yep, it's been, yeah, exactly like you said, very close. The advantage for Benedictine is solid here. However, Cleveland State has shown the ability to close back out the stocks as quickly as needed. So it's going to be about whether or not Benedictine can rack up some damage before this happens. There's that guaranteed combos that I was talking about, but you lost stage advantage because you pressured too hard. Great high Firewolf to get back, but man, this is just a scramble. Huge scramble to get stage positioning again, because whichever one can get it is going to have a big opportunity to continue to force their opponent.
And Wolf doing a good job chipping away. Look at all the damage that's actually getting played in here. And they're just looking for that opportunity. ZSS is a little bit more precautious, it feels like. They're not marching forward as confidently as they were before. And Wolf is taking advantage of that, right? Those awkward moments where the jumping forward comes in from ZSS, where it looks like they don't really want to go in. They're feeling the pressure of being on their last stock. And it feels like both of these players, they're treating it very much like so. 2 stocks for Wolf. Beautiful display coming out here. What a great game between these two players.
Huge. Absolutely massive for Benedictine to get that win, but to get 2 stocks on that win is huge. Now they're in a singular stock deficit, which is just a massive momentum and pace change for the entire crew battle that we've had so far. And it was about that pick. The Wolf was a safe pick, able to take out that Bayonetta without losing much at all. And then there's not like a hard counter pick against Wolf that they were able to bring in from the side of Cleveland State. So they use ZSS, which is a good pick. It's a solid pick. It's a fairly even pick, but the Wolf played disciplined. Didn't go for any crazy kill confirms. There were definitely some back air kill confirms that could have happened, but there wasn't anything too risky that happened. And I think that was very crucial and very important distinction between the last time that we saw, a Wolf player versus right now. So let's see if they can carry that momentum with 2 stocks getting into this next one. Can they swing it back in their favor with Wolf versus Game & Watch? No, this is a bad matchup. This is like one of the only bad matchups for Wolf. They probably should have set this in earlier, actually. It's not like the worst, but it's pretty bad. The blasters can be absorbed very easily, so that's no longer a spacing tool that you have, because if you fill up the oil panic and Game & Watch decides to drop it on you, that's like 20% death.
That's a feels bad scenario. I wasn't prepared for Mr. Game & Watch to come on in here, but here we are, and you can see trying to lay in that pressure to Wolf, trying to zip around, trying to go in, using a nice bit of that aerial offense that they have to be able to lay into hurt. But bombs are being dropped. Mr. Game & Watch is showing no mercy.
That's a great confirm right there. Those combo confirms is what I like to see. The fair into the back air into the nair onto the platform to cover tech options if needed. Game & Watch is a little bit too light, didn't need tech there, but that's good, solid stuff. Keeping this percentage even is really good against Game & Watch. Losing your stock there is not great, because now you have to find some sort of kill confirm on the Game & Watch. And if you don't find like a fair back air kill confirm, you're basically fishing for like up smash out of shield or like some sort of ledge option. Or a hard read, and that's going to be really hard to do against this slippery character.
Mr. Game & Watch is one of those characters I always have a bad time against. I am always like one of those people who goes into Mr. Game & Watch. I run into him and I'm like, what's going on here? And I'm seeing this right now, right? Like always dropping these bombs, always applying some pressure onto this Wolf. Wolf, every single time it seems like they get close to this Mr. Game & Watch, they're having pressure applied right back to him. And it's not like the Wolf hasn't been able to do anything. It's just the fact that Mr. Game & Watch is one of those characters that whenever they're starting to apply pressure, they have so many tools at their disposal to just keep applying such. But Wolf doing a good job getting that stock off from Mr. Game & Watch. Good stuff coming out.
Yeah, that was a great way to confirm that kill. And now you're at even percentage again, a stock down, but that's how you started. I think this is a good place to be in. Oh, but he reads the tech option with the down
Oh,
smash, F smash. Luckily, across the stage, so we don't quite die yet on the side of Benedictine. It's really going to be a matter of how do you fill in these Wolf Blasters? Yes, Game & Watch can even pancake them at certain ranges, but absorbing them is something that you have to be much more concerned about. However, if you don't use it at all, then Game & Watch has no incentive to close the gap on you, has no incentive to, uh, you know, be scared of a certain mid-range approach. So, like Nair, for example, short hop Nair. So, I think it's good that he's peppering in the Wolf Blasters when he is. However, at 125%, you're at kill percentage, and you have to close out the stock on Game & Watch before you lose your own.
yeah. There's a 2 stock advantage for Mr. Game and Watch, and they're looking to make a Mr. Game set and match. If they continue this onwards, they're flipping pancakes of their own. They're going to go ahead and hit him with the manhole lid, and that is game going over Mr. Game and Watch, coming out with a 2 stock advantage going into the next bid. And the gap has gotten back to where it was prior, despite Wolf doing a considerable job at closing it.
Yeah, that was tough. It's now a 2 stock advantage. That down tilt, strongest down tilt in the game. Of course, it's going to kill. That was a great way to catch the landing. It's not the most unsafe, and Wolf's out of shield options are terrible. His fastest out of shield option is like 10 frames, and I think it's like Nair or maybe Fair, but it's so low. So yeah, using the down tilt is a good choice because even if you mistime it just a little bit, the best thing that Wolf can do is shield. If he spot dodges, the end of the down tilt is still going to catch, but in shielding it, he's not going to have any sort of out of shield option. So it was a really, really great choice from the Game & Watch to do that, and I think that that can't be understated. It was a good kill confirm, regardless of how good you think that matchup is. It was a good choice. So with 2 stocks down and having to face a Game & Watch with 2 stocks, what's the choice? Like, what do you pick here? There's not like a lot of great options. There is still the Sephiroth, which is not the worst pick. If Game & Watch gets close to you, that's a problem, but you have a lot of ways to keep him out. So I think there's a choice there that could be considered. But they also have one other player as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's
So
still a couple options that are available to you. And hey, look, we saw how that Wolf made that comeback and almost brought things to an even state. Nets player, they're going to have to carry a lot of the energy that Wolf was, right? Like you got to carry that same energy going into this Nets match. I want to see it. I want to see that same desire to even things up for your team and get things into a good space here. For the Mr. Game & Watch, you got to make sure that you have the tools to be able to KO this character very quickly, get him out of here, and start getting that momentum building for you. Because we saw it with that Wolf. Once that Wolf got the momentum, huge for them to be able to continue swinging. And I feel like that's a theme that we've seen from Benedictine, especially from their earlier series in the day where they did get that early KO and they just kept running with the momentum. So being a momentum team isn't bad, but you got to be able to get that momentum to be able to carry it if that's going to be your strategy.
absolutely, and unless the other player on Benedictine plays like Lucina or something very definitively winning against Game & Watch, I do think it's probably going to be the Sephiroth pullout. But let's find out. Let's get into this next game.
Let's get into it. I want to see as the cloak will go away, and here it is. It's a Pokemon trader. Let's go.
This is good. This is a good pick. This is a good pick against the Game & Watch. I don't think it's like definitively winning for PT, but you have a lot of options to deal with Game & Watch. In the lower percentages, you have the Squirtle to deal with Game & Watch's speed, and your hurtbox, is so small that you can, avoid as necessary. But it looks like he's going to choose to go with the Ivysaur first, which is a good choice to keep the range out. It's kind of like having a Swordy that hits very low as well, and having a projectile to kind of avoid Game & Watch that isn't going to be absorbed by Oil Panic is also a good choice. So you have options here. The issue is that your disadvantage is so bad that Game & Watch can abuse it if needed. And 73% in climbing, yeah, I mean, it's tough. You have to kind of stay on Ivysaur too, because Charizard is not going to bring it back to you.
Oh, no.
SD. That's a sad way to start.
Yeah, that's not the optimal way to start things off. And they're going to go back into Squirtle here. Start things off now with the percentages climbing. They're going to stay on this Squirtle for a little bit of time. Go back to that Ivysaur and try to work their magic here. And like you were talking about, has a little bit of those range options. Good way to smack him out and get him on out of here. Now the Ivysaur is back up to things, but it's a fresh Mr. Game & Watch.
Yeah, being on Ivysaur at 35% against a fresh Game and Watch is tough because you kind of have to box out with your normals because Razor Leaf comes out kind of slowly, and even online, if the Game and Watch chooses to jump a little bit early, you're done. I mean, you're just gonna get nared into like up B
Oh,
nair again, or nair comboed,
oh,
or you're gonna get juggled like
oh.
this. And Charizard isn't exactly better to get down to the ground with, but you just didn't want to die early to, let's say, an air dodge read or something else like that. So it's going to come down to what he can do here. I don't think he stays on the Charizard. I think that he has to switch. As scary as it is at these higher percentages, you probably don't want to be on Squirtle, but that's probably what you need if you want to rack up any damage here. Otherwise, you're just kind of looking for these stray hits, which Charizard's frame data isn't exactly great for, as we're seeing right now.
Yeah, Charizard's having a hard time inside of it. They're trying to land in those blows. The tails are hitting them every now and then, but
Ugh.
I don't know, man. If you played some Pokemon, Tail Whip doesn't do you too terribly much inside of the Pokemon game. So you're going to go ahead and go back at stock to stock. Last bit here, Mr. Game & Watch laying in the aggression. Back to Ivysaur we go. Laying in a good amount of hurt. Getting into that parachute. There you go. It's game as the parachute is popped. Cleveland State University, they're going to their second to last character, but the damage has been done here.
He could have closed it out first before that. He could have closed it out with only a 1 stock deficit instead of a 2, but unfortunately just got really scared on that Charizard, stuck on it for a little bit too long instead of switching back to Squirtle when he was, say, at like 90%. That probably would have been the best choice. 90%, stay on Squirtle, use that rage, get a couple of those guaranteed combos that would have gotten Game Watch to like 30-40%, switch to Ivysaur, and then box out with like a fair or a back air. There wasn't a lot of back airs from that Ivysaur. I feel like, boxing out with the back air covers a lot of that range, that approach range that the Game & Watch has to get at you with, and it even covers like short hop and full hop from Game & Watch, depending on how you choose to use it. So I didn't see enough of that from the Ivysaur. It might have been a matchup knowledge thing that they didn't have. But that was a little bit unfortunate. You never like to see, you dying and then immediately taking out your opponent's last stock in a crew battle. That never feels great. You always feel a little bit demoralized, like, man, I could have saved a whole nother stock for my next battle. But, we have to power on. You have 1 stock and you have, a whole other person behind you. If you can even this up, which is entirely doable, if you can even like close the gap by 1 stock here, then this crew battle can still go either way. And so I think PT is a good, again, safe-ish choice to deal with that. There's not a whole lot of characters that just do abysmally well into Pokemon Trainer, but we'll find out.
We'll see. We'll have to see. I am interested what the pick is. I love that I'm getting to see how deep the rosters are going. They're going deep into the pockets right now. But at the time, backs against the wall, 1 stock left. It's time. Cleveland State University has put in a call for a hero.
I need a hero. I'm so excited for this. I'm really pumped to see what this looks like, even only having 1 stock that you need to take out. Every hero plays a little bit differently, and I'm super curious to see what this play style is. It looks like it's to go back and do menu select a good bit until you can find something that you like. Although it's really smart from Benedictine's Pokemon trainer to not let him do that. Stay on the Squirtle, make your hurt box a little bit low. Your frame data is so fast that all of the slow aerials and grounded options from Hero are going to have to be like really carefully selected if you want to space out again to even be able to get to your menu select. Heal, good choice. Kaboom is going to catch him running in, and this is the issue. You switch to Ivysaur, and now menu select is just something that he gets to have for free. He just gets to do as much as he wants because it's going to take you too long to get in on him, and you can't zone out with Razor Leaf because it's not going to do anything. The range on Razor Leaf is low, and even if you hit, the hit stone is low and the damage is low. That's difficult. No snooze.
The snooze. Yeah. That's all she wrote. Go night. Going to sleep in Pokemon is already hard enough inside of the Pokemon games. You bring it into Smash, and it's not a status condition you want to be stuck with at all. It's an easy KO there.
Even if it was a status condition, I mean, it's one of the most annoying ones to deal with in Pokemon as well. Yes. You really don't have a lot of choices beyond using an item or waiting it out, and that's not fun to deal with because you just don't get to do anything. It's not like Confusion where you have some options like, oh, maybe it'll hit. It's like you can't do anything until you use an
wake
item,
up, please,
or like if you have maybe like a berry that you're holding, like those are basically your only options. You can kind of see that my knowledge stops at Gen 3, but in any case, it was a good choice. I think it might have been top decked. I wasn't paying too much attention there, but it was still like a good menu select option.
Yeah.
And the hero clearly knew what he needed to do the second that he switched to Ivysaur. Either that, or he was just playing a specific win condition that was going to work only against Ivysaur and Charizard and not against Squirtle.
Yeah.
And the switch off of Squirtle, there wasn't a whole, let me put it this way. There wasn't a whole lot of thought put into that game from either side. I think that on Pokemon Trainer, even as you grow in percentages, you stay on the Squirtle. Edge guard with the Squirtle, ledge trap with the Squirtle. You have a lot of fast options to cover with ledge trapping. You don't even have terrible options to edge guard if you want to. Like, and you can combo consistently with the Squirtle. Like, I don't think you switch off it at all. You just keep the pressure high because Hero has a very difficult time dealing with fast brawlers, and that's exactly what Squirtle is. Switching to Ivysaur gives Hero a lot of time to set up whatever they want to. They can get Accelerate, they can get Oomph, they can get whatever they need to get set up and prepared. And that's exactly what happened. As soon as the Ivysaur switch came out, the momentum basically fully flipped. And that was all she wrote.
Yeah. Well, next is see if is it the Sephiroth as the anchor here that is going to come out? I'm actually very curious to get into this last one, because if that's the case, then we got the the pro tag from one very infamous RPG and one of the most infamous antags in another JRPG series going head to head. Another thing that I love about Smash is just the storylines of that, just because I'm a big fan of all those different games. And I want to see it. Do we have the Sephiroth anchor coming in, or is it somebody completely different? This is the arena that they are choosing to fight in. Oh, it's Cloud!
Yeah, this might be a Cloud Sephiroth player, or the Sephiroth player might have played somebody else earlier, or maybe they just decided not to include him in this crew battle. But in any case, Cloud is an okay choice against the hero. It still suffers a lot of the same issues that Ivysaur has, except you have some better options for... Okay, there. Reset this one. But you have some better options for movement. Your aerial movement is a lot faster. You have better choices to box with Hero. Even when Hero gets to set up some of their stuff, you just have good choices.
There we go.
I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's like the best pick that they could have had. However, it was their last pick, so of course this is all that they could bring into this. This is fine. I think this is okay.
I like it just because it's the battle of the JRPGs. So I'm completely cool with it. Take some of the most infamous characters and put them against each other. Dragon Quest versus Final Fantasy. Who reigns supreme? That's me. That's where I'm at right now. Right now, Hero barely able to get back on. They did have a little bit of oomph to lay into some of those slashes there if they need to, but it's going to take everything in Cloud's kit to be able to finish off this Hero.
So aware. Benedictine's Cloud is just so aware of what's being selected on the menu at any given time and is playing these ranges very interestingly. If the menu is being selected, he dashes up, and if something damaging comes out, he shields. It's so like measured and intelligent there. I love that from the side of Benedictine's Cloud. However, you have a lot of ground to make up for, and getting snoozed is just going to be a guaranteed stock loss. Tragic.
So sleep sucks as well in Final Fantasy. Homie was not enjoying that whatsoever, but Cloud is gotta watch out. That was one big hit, but that's the joys of being the hero in this. That menu select can change up a conflict in a moment's notice. And look at Cloud getting down dirty, trying to go in and spike him off of the map. I'm not going to be able to find that success just yet, but third time's the charm, and charging up that limit break.
Good shield pressure. Heroes out of shield options also aren't very good. And so if you can continue to pressure that shield and stay close onto the hero, you're going to have some good choices. But you have to make sure everything hits, because the second that you have a backer that whiffs, well, you're going to have that situation where you just get grabbed. And grab is exactly what the hero from Cleveland State is fishing for.
Yeah,
off stage, limit blade beam is going to take the stock out. This is good. Can you take out the flat stock without losing your own? Then you're only in a 2-stock to 3-stock in the very final match. It's going to be tough, though, because Hero has a million ways to kill you at 80%.
Yeah, no, there's so many different ways to be able to knock you out. You got to be so precautious about this. Every single time you go into that menu, there's got to be a moment where Cloud's heart is stopping for that moment. The Kaboom is selected. They're not going to let him get the chance to cross slash coming out the limit break there. Not able to find its target just yet. They're at 97%, right at 100. Looking for that sizzle, not going to find the target intended. Going to have to build up a little bit more MP for this hero, and they're going to be able to do that with this little bit of time. The Kaboom! Finishing off Cloud down to 1 stock.
That's super tragic. You had a lot of momentum in your favor as Cloud, and you couldn't quite get the stock closed out. As soon as you got put in disadvantage, it was tough to come back from it. And now, Cleveland State is feeling a lot more comfortable. You only have one stock left on the Cloud. Yes, you'd like to close it out right now, but you're not in a rush to. You're not in a hurry to. You'd rather just play it slow, wait out to see if the Cloud's going to make any super terrible decisions and just punish it that way. Play around your menu select as often as you want to. Um, yeah, there's a lot of pressure on Cloud from Benedictine to make something happen here. And you can see him just shoving his face into Hero as often as he can. Hey, man, this is really scary. These scrambles are terrifying.
Such a scary situation I had to be in to charge up that limit for one last hit. There you go, the cross slash against the stage. One stock versus three. Cloud is in for an uphill battle. This is a character who knows a fair share about it, but this player has to somehow pilot Cloud through this last impending force to come out. One last anchor, and you have one stock to knock out three.
Yep, that's going to be tough. One stock on Cloud. I mean, Cloud also isn't somebody who suffers from a lot of really, really awful matchups. There are some tough ones, but there aren't anything that is insurmountable. And you have one stock to deal with three. It's still one of the closer gaps that we've seen today. And I think it's possible. It just depends on who the last player is.
Yeah, I the anticipation's getting me. Let's see what we got here. I want to see who the last remaining player is and see if they'll be able to finalize this victory for Cleveland State University. Hey, it's a snake.
First snake we've seen of the day. I'm excited for this one. Even though it's one stock on Cloud, if it were 3 versus 3 stocks, this would be a super interesting and fun matchup that we've seen a lot at the top level. However, it's one stock versus 3, and Snake is like one of the best characters you can play with a stock advantage. All you have to do is trade grenade damage the entire game. That's it. You can rack yourself up to 150%. Hell, you can lose your own stock by trading grenades with Cloud. Like, put yourself in disadvantage and just do one frame grenade pulls constantly, trade that damage, and then Cloud's eventually just going to be like 110%. And all you have to do is get an up tilt read or a grab, and it's over.
Yeah, this is the scary thing. We've seen this snake before. The snake is actually a terror amongst you because they will control the field so hard. I do not envy this Cloud whatsoever. A snake is a character who is so troublesome to deal with. There you go. Send him on up to the heavens. Back to the live stream with you. Cloud, you did your team proud, but it is Snake who comes in clutch, finishes off that last stock. They had a true terror on the anchor.
Yeah, he made it look easy, honestly. He didn't even do any sort of like damage trading because he was never in disadvantage. He was just constantly making the Cloud make different decisions. And that last final read on the get up attack, just shielding it and then going for the up tilt. I mean, it was just a good choice. He knew that the down throw into up tilt wasn't going to be a guaranteed confirm out of, like, let's say a mash. And so he just decided to wait. And instead just went for an up tilt. And so that was just a really solid choice.
Yeah, and I mean, with that being said, I mean, just like that, it feels almost anticlimactic whenever you have like a one stock versus a 3 stock and the 1 stock gets backed up. But that was our closest battle of the day, and it was just a good series there. Got down to the last player for both sides for the first time today as well. Just really good showing. Both schools coming out swinging, and you got to give it over to Cleveland on that one.
Good stuff from Cleveland. Good stuff from all of the schools that we've seen today. That was just fantastic. I'm glad that we got to see a good variety of characters being played at different like tiers for different characters. I mean, it's just fantastic. And the skill level from all of these players is clearly very high. Yes, we saw some blowout games here, but I don't think it was necessarily due to, in fully uneven skill matchup, more so as it was like a momentum difference.
Yeah.
There's a lot more games to be played in this season. And so these players are going to learn how to match up their crew battles a little bit better going forward. And I think that it's only going to get closer and more hype as we go down the season.
Yep. When you got a team backing you up, you don't want to let them down. These are your friends, your colleagues. You don't want to let them down. You want to carry them on to victory because there's also bragging rights that come along with that. I don't know, man. It's one of those things. It's my favorite things about whenever you're in like those team settings when it's like just you going out there, right? I used to wrestle. You're one person out there on the mat, but then you got like a whole lineup of people like behind you. It's like, if I get my dub, my school looks even better. And everybody is hyping me up, right? Like I'm getting off of the mat and everybody's just like, Travis, Trav, you're the sickest, man. You're so cool. And I'll be like, yeah, I am kind of cool. You're right.
I love that. You're absolutely right. That's the best part about being in that team situation, especially when you're playing a game that's normally just 1v1s, but you're in that like tag team type of situation. Being able to like carry your team or be the anchor. I used to swim, so I'm in the same situation. Being on those relay teams, super fun. Whenever you're the one that can make that comeback for your team, or like there's just a lot of support from all angles, and there's also a lot of fun being able to do it with your friends.
Absolutely. Well, shout outs to everybody who came out and watched with us, supported your favorite players, your favorite teams, your favorite clubs that came out here. And shout out to my boy Kevin for coming out here. That's Kevin with a K. Don't you ever forget it. And don't you ever misrespect it. And it's been a pleasure. It's been so good. Thank you so much. And Kevin, I think that's it for us here today. We're going to go ahead and send it off. We hope you all take care and have a phenomenal rest of your evening.
See you next week.